You never seen Lilo and Stitch?
I saw the first one. I didn't see all the entire franchise that came after
There was
it.
like a whole friggin' straight-to-video series, and then like the TV series, which the TV series kind of implies Stitch's cousins died horribly.
I don't remember that.
You know how Stitch's cousins are in those pods, like an egg, and then you dip the pods in some water, and then they form into their real life selves, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a Pokeball. Well, in one of the movies, all those balls, all 625 of those dehydrated thingies, scatter all across Hawaii. But Hawaii is a lot of water, so it's implied that a lot of those landed in the water. And Jumba has said that his experiments are way too dense, like matter-wise, so a lot of those likely materialized, came to life, landed in the water, and just drowned instantly.
Hey, so we're recording a podcast.
It's
right?
canon. Hey, Larry.
That was a good podcast. I'm out.
Let me make sure.
Do I need to purposely put in awkward pauses, or can you do that for me?
Damn.
We're always in our clubhouse getting high. Super fuckers. Everybody wishes we would die. Super fuckers. Here we come like a bomb. Everybody fucking run and hide.
Hey, it's the Rebel Taxi Pizza Party podcast, and we're raising money for MomoCon. So we want to promote the YouTube group Toon Grin, who donated 100 to our Patreon. Look them up, Toon Grin. They do scripted animation-based top 10s and reviews, while also doing recent animated movie reviews. Links to them pinned in the comments. Anyway, I'm Pan Pizza. Who are you people?
I'm Nolan.
I'm Izzy.
I'm GuruLarry.
Yes, we have a guest here today.
I'm not supposed to answer, am I?
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
You're supposed to introduce me. Oh, okay. Hello.
I mean, if you want an intro, if you type GuruLarry's name in the comment section right now, he'll appear. Go, fairies, go.
He shows up everywhere in the YouTube comments. Like, you've commented on my videos a few times.
Oh, you've seen them, have you?
Yes.
No, I just have a severe bout of procrastination. I mean, I'd have about 10 times as many videos on my channel if I didn't have this debilitating illness.
I mean, I don't know. There are times where I'm just like, I'm not watching Netflix. I'm just going to stream through a bunch of random people's videos, analyzing some random video game. And then you're in the comments always.
I know.
Larry physically manifests in your house to tell you did a good job and then disappears in the same instance.
Oh, come back. I need someone to tell me I did a good job, please. I need reassurance.
I need validation.
For people who haven't seen your videos, Larry, which video would you recommend them watching?
I recommend they watch every single one of them so I get more ad revenue.
Yeah, that's the dream.
That is a good answer.
Yes, even the crappy ones that are sort of completely irrelevant now by today's standards. Well,
just
which one would that be, for instance?
that would be probably most of them, but
if I could make a recommendation for you, one of my favorites of yours is the top 5 times Shigeru Miyamoto was an asshole.
Yes, that went down really well with Nintendo fanboys.
Oh,
they said,
no.
Thank you very much for that insightful opinion of yours, Larry. I never saw it that way. But no,
I'm sure most of them were like that. I'm sure all of them were that.
Look,
such an agreeable, well thought out community there. So
of course,
when I was 14, I was one of those Nintendo fanboys who was just like, "Fuck Sony," and just couldn't accept anything negative about Nintendo ever.
I sat there with my GameCube in denial.
Pretty much, yeah. I was like, why does no one talk about, why do these video game websites like GameStop don't talk about the GameCube? It's still cool.
They must be haters.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I remember there was a GamePro magazine. I forget which article of GamePro, but on the cover it shows the Neo Matrix video game, and somebody submitted like a piece of paper, like notebook paper with the lines, and someone just wrote them saying, "Why do you guys only talk about PS2 and Xbox? Why don't you talk about Nintendo, you fucks?" And it was just a whole threatening email. I mean, not even an email, just a piece of paper they sent in. It's like, wow, I relate to that kid.
Written in his best crayons.
Pretty much. And I was like, the magazine was making fun of him, but I was like, I sympathize with that kid. I get you. But then eventually the Wii came out, and it's like, yes, we outsold the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah, you guys did it. Good job.
Friggin' did it. It's the days say. But Larry, who exactly are you? What do you do?
I'm Larry. I like I like holding hands and walking on the beach, and I am
As
an
most-
alcoholic.
Oh,
No, I'm. No, I don't know what I really do. Really, I talk about really obscure video games, and sort of I look into sort of really weird things in history and that sort of anecdotes and sort of bizarre stories that happened in gaming past. But I always try and look for stuff that nobody else has covered as well. So I go for really, really weird, bizarre, and cryptic things. So if you look at any video on my channel, I mean, there is a huge chance that nobody's ever covered it before.
yeah,
let's
because I
watch
learned a lot of strange stuff watching your videos.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard I heard you talk about me a couple of times in previous podcasts.
Heard you talking shit. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Along the lines of that bastard. Yeah.
I think I said something about your voice maybe once or twice.
Oh, everybody does that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And everybody does
Yeah.
the Monty Python impression. Hello, I'm GuruLarry. Hello.
That is essentially what I did, yes.
I mean, the earliest I remember watching you was back in the Screw Attack days when you were Screw Attack Europe.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. The dark days.
Yeah, it was.
I thought the dark days were that guy with the glasses, but you know.
Oh, I'm still there. Thank you very much.
Oh.
I mean, like,
kick the hornets at there, matey. So
oh
no,
no,
I'm still there. They're all right. They're all right.
yeah.
So I'm nothing horrible to say about them. I mean,
Since
they're
like
just
2006 or 7, when did you start posting on YouTube?
yeah. 2000. I think 2005. I started posting videos on
God.
YouTube, but it's just videos of my friend playing Fear. That's like the first videos I used to put up.
And then you had games that what Yanks can't wank.
Yes. Well, it's like about obscure British and European video games that never came out in America. really.
Okay,
So-
in that intro to games Yanks can't wank, Space Channel 5 on the PS2 was on that intro, and it's like, that came out in America. I have that.
Did it on the PS2?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, okay.
It was like a bundle of the both
Okay.
games.
Oh no, it's just the second one on its own, and it only ever came out in Australia.
Wait a minute.
in PAL region.
Whatevs. But yeah.
Whatever. How dare you show me up on your podcast?
I'm trying to rethink my past. Like, did I own that? I mean, well, which version did I own? I think I remember playing through the first part of the first game.
Well, the second one had Michael Jackson in it. If that helps.
I thought the first one had Michael Jackson.
Well, it had somebody who looked like Michael Jackson, but it wasn't officially him.
What? It wasn't?
No, it was. He was definitely in the second one officially.
That wasn't. They didn't have the license to use Space Michael in the first one. It was all fraudulent.
I don't think he minded. I don't think he minded, but yeah, I mean, nobody sued, did he?
Yeah, I
I think doesn't Michael Jackson love Sega? Like he did because he's dead.
He lives.
Rude.
No, yeah, he was a big fan of that. I mean, he had his own game, didn't he? He had Moonwalker.
Yeah, he had. I still love the back how long the Sonic 3 Michael Jackson thing went on, because there were rumors forever, and then somebody just came out and said, he didn't like how the Genesis sound card sounded, so he put his name out of the credits.
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
Well, he's the guy who does music for him. Brad Buxner did a lot of it.
yeah.
He actually used a couple of old songs. He used to be in a band. I mean, the Ice Cap Zone level music is actually a song called "Hard Times" by his band, who's called the Jetsons, spelled with a Z or a Z. Yeah, JTZON. Yeah, have a listen to it on YouTube. It's a really good song.
I think the first video I saw like that unraveled that mystery for me was back when game trailers was a thing.
I remember that. That went viral, that video, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was like one of the first viral gaming videos.
Yeah, and their Pop Fiction franchise, which now there's just a ton of imitators, and like game trailers kind of lost relevancy.
I must admit, I stopped watching game trailers when they started putting up spoilers in their reviews.
Oh,
They reviewed Portal and they reviewed the ending.
what?
What was that about? Yeah, as a don't. They reviewed the ending. That's like the whole thing leading up to that whole game. When they reviewed it, they just completely ruined it.
Okay, wait, was it the first Portal?
Yeah, the first one.
To
The
be
one where you
fair-
didn't know what the twist was.
Oh man. Well, to be fair, you could beat that game in 10 minutes, so you know.
I know, but if you haven't played it yet, it just
Yeah.
sort of cuts it off for you.
I mean, I forget what review I was watching, but I was like, what? Why would did you say that? I mean, there's a lot of positive reviews for cartoons where they just flat out spoil the entire thing, and it's like, well, thanks for that. You spoiled the whole thing. Why would I want to watch it now?
Well, isn't that like the YouTube type of review? It's just most people's reviews just going through the entire plot, and then at the very end for like 2 minutes going, yeah, it was all right.
I mean,
or, I hated it, and then that's the video.
The nostalgia critic style of review.
Well, I do that, but mostly on negative videos. But if I want to cover, like, I just give a summary if it's a good movie or a cartoon. But if I do want to spoil it, I will say, like, hey, skip to this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, most people's reviews are, like, abridged, what's that, Mystery Science Theaters.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, a lot of that stuff was inspired by Mystery Science Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, you know what's funny is, like, when I was younger and I got into Nostalgia Critic, I decided, like, hey, I should look into Mystery Science Theater, and I thought it was really funny from the YouTube videos that show, like, the best of, and then I actually watched a real Mystery Science Theater episode, and I was like, wait a minute, they actually sit down and watch the whole movie? Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, Izzy, you said that like later, some other time, we want to record like a Monster Trucks audio commentary.
Yeah, like, I think it'd be fun. Maybe at MomoCon when we're in the hotel, we can like go get a couple of drinks, watch Monster Trucks while recording ourselves watching it, and then people can download it and watch the movie and have their own commentary track. I think it'd be fun.
I remember a long time ago, me and Nolan did an audio commentary track on the Powerpuff Girls movie, and someone else, I think Lava Pasta was there, and XLR, and it was all, and I didn't know how to handle like large, humongous videos, and I could never render it, and I eventually just got lost, and no one ever saw that audio commentary ever. It was like 2 years ago, 3 years.
Way more than that, my
It was
friend.
the beginning of the Mesozoic era. That's where it was.
The early
Jesus.
days.
Yeah, back when
early
YouTube looked like a competent website.
Back when the days when I put up a video and made money from it.
Yeah. Well, now with the whole unlisted thing, I mean, the whole demonetization thing, what I do is just set it to unlisted and then wait for that stupid copyright thing to say, hey, this is demonetized, and I submit that. And
But it's stupid that you have to do that. I mean, they should, approval a couple of times and that, but we should be put on a whitelist after a while.
yeah, a
shouldn't you?
whitelist, like, hey, if the last few videos I submitted were approved, chances are the next one is going to be approved too, so why bother?
Yeah, I feel like they just need to hire people to like or they need to have like a whitelister program that you can like apply for, and you submit videos, and then like somebody manually goes, oh, okay, these are fine, and it like for verified channels only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? They did for a little bit. That was what being part of an MCN was all about. Was you were whitelisted, and then MCNs changed their thing, and so everyone except for whoever was like the 1%, whoever's making the money, got dropped out of that program.
Cool. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah,
Hate it.
thanks.
It's totally irrelevant being a part of a network now, isn't it? I mean, they just sit there and just take part of your money now for doing nothing in return.
Yeah.
It basically, yeah.
One of the joys of being part of the Disney network.
Empire Maker.
Yeah, well, they're called Disney now. They're not allowed. They don't call themselves Maker anymore. Also, I'm not allowed to call them Mauschwitz as well.
Oh. Okay, well, we got some news, but here in
Speaking of Disney, they bought everything in existence.
yeah,
Yes.
Fox, 20th Century Fox. They own 20th Century Fox now.
Hi, I'm Ajit Pai. I'm the chairman of the FCC. Recently, there's been quite a bit of conversation about my plan to restore internet freedom. Here are just a few of the things you'll still be able to do on the internet after these Obama-era regulations are repealed. You can still gram your food. You can still shop for all your Christmas presents online. Yes, got that bulk deal on fidget spinners. You can still drive memes right into the ground.
But before we cover that, I just want to make a quick note. Net neutrality almost got repealed, or is in the process of it. Call your reps, call your congressmen, everybody who lives in the U.S.
Damn.
Do it. Do it.
Can we talk about that awful video they made?
Mr. Pie making 7 things you can still do after net neutrality is repealed, and all it is just memes.
Yeah, it's like you can still do the Harlem
Two-year-old
Shake.
memes as well, like the Harlem
Yeah.
Shake.
Okay,
which in meme years is like 1874. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Still
Pan,
watch your favorite video, Nyan Cat.
Pan, since you're an expert on public humiliation, since you're into that shit, do you think that Pie Guy is into it too? 'Cause that's all I
Maybe.
could think of in that video.
Huh.
Is that like
I'm trying to figure out what's his. Okay, besides money, what's his end game? Why is he putting himself out like this? Maybe he does have a sexual humiliation fetish. Like,
honestly, it's either he's just like, okay, I have two theories. One, he's just literally that incompetent and like literally thinks he's actually doing a favor for everybody. Or two, he's doing that thing where he's just being an obnoxious asshole because he thinks he knows he's going to win.
yeah.
So he's just rubbing it in everybody's faces in the most indirect way possible.
I think that's what
Oh
it
no,
is.
it's very direct. Have you seen the actual like footage of them voting?
No.
Well, yeah. No, like, I mean, I consider direct like being hot, you fucking suck my dick. Like,
Okay. So in the actual voting thing, where you can watch a recording of it, where both of the people that voted no went on this really long, like passionate speech about how this is going against the people, this is betraying what the FCC stands for, and this is going to destroy consumers. And she goes on this really long thing, and the camera cuts back to Pie. Goes, so we could take you as a no then, and then you just hear a crowd laughing, like not like a canned laughter, like legitimately he has all these yes men in the front of the crowd, and like it's very clear that he's treating no one with respect or anything. It's super disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Pi. I hope you look forward to not having a job in the next couple of years, you asshole. So yeah, basically, even though it was voted to be repealed, there's stuff that can still be done. Congress can step in. There's currently lawsuits from multiple states being planned to be filed against the FCC for various reasons. Multiple bots have made comments in the names of even dead people supporting the repeal, which is not legal or okay. So
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a shit ton of illegalness from this. Like
yeah.
Like they weren't supposed to vote. It was requested that they delay the vote by at least 3 days to take in consideration those bots, and they went ahead and voted anyways. So like there's a multi-state lawsuit towards them considering this unconstitutional and unlawful.
Yeah, so what I can say is that even though it's been voted to be repealed, it's not yet. It won't happen for years if that's the case, but call anyway. Call your reps, call your congressman. I'll send a link to Pan to put in the description where you can find them, and we'll take care of it from there.
Where you can
Just
find
Hide your
them.
kids, hide your wives.
We should get him on the podcast.
He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. But no, that bottom line is just keep calling, keep causing a shitstorm. That's the only way your voice will get heard and this will get fixed.
Keep screaming, screaming at the
Yeah,
walls.
Don't
for a
fucking
Pepsi.
give up. Don't fucking give up. But back on the Disney train.
Yes. Disney bought Marvel. I mean, Disney bought Fox.
Yes.
Does this mean the Simpsons will be good game now?
I want them. They need to come back in a new video game. There hasn't been a console-based Simpsons game in over 10 years.
I posted a tweet last week about it'd be a good idea to do an HD remake of Bart versus the Space Mutants.
No, thank you.
No, a proper one with proper Simpsons artwork and actually fixing the problems in the game. Like
Yeah.
Just remaking the game
lollipops.
completely.
I mean,
Yeah.
No, if anything, like I imagine them doing like the arcade version of the arcade Simpsons arcade game in HD, but
Well,
it's
EA
like
done that. It was terrible. They've done it for the iPad.
oh
iPhone.
yeah, okay, that's not even the same game. They just slapped an arcade name onto it and said, yeah, this is the Simpsons arcade. It's like, this isn't the Simpsons arcade at all.
It was re-released for consoles by I think Activision and then taken off the stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if they went, like, did a full-on, made it look like the actual show remake of that, I'd be down.
Yeah,
I'd be
that's what I meant. Yeah, proper artwork.
That'd be cool.
Okay, but you guys, I appreciate your hopes for the games, but keep in mind that EA that's Disney sold their Star Wars games license to EA, and we got Battlefront 2 out of it. So
yeah, because I'm afraid we're gonna get like maybe the Simpsons Hit and Run 2 after all these years, and it's just gonna be the biggest piece of garbage ever by EA.
Thank you, EA. We really appreciate all you've done for us.
Does Disney sell all their video game properties or just Star Wars?
They didn't
Star
sell.
Wars.
It wasn't technically selling it. It was like, here,
Leasing, yeah.
EA has the license.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's going to get revoked soon enough.
Well, no, because like with Disney, I know they dropped like all their stuff with Disney Infinity and everything else. They're like, we're not interested in games. But obviously, Star Wars is like it's Disney, but it's like its own little thing. So like I can see where they licensed out all Star Wars games, but I can't imagine them licensing out the entire Disney, especially a new property. There's no fucking way that counts as part of their thing, you know? It's got to be grandfathered into other properties or whoever owned the last game.
Well, EA technically still have the rights to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
They're still doing that tapped out game.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, fuck.
I mean,
no.
That's why I'm afraid that they're gonna mess up if they ever do a Simpsons Hit and Run Part 2 or HD upgrade.
Legacy Edition.
Speaking of Simpsons video games, I remember the Crazy Taxi ripoff, Road Rage.
Road Rage.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I loved it. It was a Christmas present one year for me. That was
Same.
I know there was a beta version like released that was for E3, and in the beta version, the game was cel shaded. All the textures were designed to look like the cartoon, but apparently Matt Groening wanted the thing to look 3D as 3D as possible, so they completely retextured the entire thing. And I kind of want to see Simpsons Road Rage re-released with the option of having like the cartoon textures.
Mm.
Honestly, there was something I looked off about the textures in the Hit and Run and Road Rage games. And I think it's just because they just turned off the cel shading.
I thought they were influenced by that Halloween special, the one where he goes into 3D.
Yeah,
but they look very much like that.
I'm sure they use the action figures as a model.
Wait. Jumping back, that Halloween special where Homer was like in 3D, was that really like super hella expensive?
Possibly.
Probably.
It must have been the 90s, wasn't it? So.
Yeah.
It was the 90s, and it looks like Pixar levels of animation, which was expensive at the time, so I'm assuming yes.
It looks a lot better than Reboot at the time, yeah.
Well, I think they even make a joke where it goes like, "Oh, it feels expensive" or something.
And then not only that, but he goes into the real world and his model looks better and well lit. So,
I mean, I know that episode of The Simpsons is attached to some lost media because around 1999 there was this thing called IMAX Cyberworld 3D, and it was basically, I actually saw this in person. Me and my family went to Vegas around 1999, and we went to an IMAX theater, and they were playing Cyberworld 3D, and they were bragging about, like, look, it's this screen is 6 stories tall, and they give us like these gigantic ass goggles that act as 3D glasses. Like, these things just wrap around your head. And we watched it, and it was just like a bunch of short film segments. Like there was a clip from the movie Ants. There was the Simpsons 3D Halloween episode, and some other short films. And some of those are lost. And this whole Cyberworld 3D is lost media. But I was there. I saw it in theaters. And also, I remember, like, me and my family, our eyes were watery the rest of the day after we saw that. So it was
like because it was so powerful, like
pretty much
you cried.
I mean, I guess 3D wasn't, ready yet, but it just irritated our eyes for the whole day.
Yeah, it fucking melted your brains out, and that explains how you are today.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of lost media, though, Larry, have you done like a lost media countdown for games or anything? Because that'd be a cool video. I'd love to see you do. You could probably find something super obscure.
Oh, what do you mean, games that were never released?
Yeah.
Games that were never released, or games that were lost, but like initially released and then lost, like maybe PT, for instance, even though it's not lost media, really.
Well, I haven't done anything like that before because I sort of other people have covered it, but I could look into that. I mean, that's something. It might be something worth pursuing in the future. Yes.
Yeah, I really wish that people managed to get PT on like the PC or something, or like an emulator or something like that. I mean, it would probably run terribly because it's PS4, but We need to preserve PT.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, like a lot of those console-based downloadable games are disappearing. Like the Scott Pilgrim game, that's lost. I mean, I didn't really like the game, but still, it's disappearing.
I loved that game.
I haven't actually played it, but it looked really nice.
It's so much fun.
It looks, I mean, it looks nice, but I hated how slow Scott Pilgrim walks by default. And I mean, they say that later on you get upgrades to walk faster, but like by default, he should walk a lot faster because it is painfully slow.
Did you know you can run by double tapping the stick?
I know, but still, by default, it just feels so super slow. And also the level goes on for like 15 minutes. The first level, the demo level I played, it's like, oh my god, just end it already. I'm tired of this.
Oh. I thought you liked.
Yeah,
they did announce they're going to do a patch for it that was let you play the game online as well, but they never released it.
No, they did, and then the license expired, so it was literally just for a couple months you could play online, and then it ended.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, no, I was incorrect. It was drop-in, drop-out co-op. That was it. It wasn't online, I don't think. They did all the DLC though for like they got Wall of Swells in there and Knives, who are like the only two characters that matter. So
I posted on Twitter a while ago about like how the Pizza Party podcast would make a good fighting game, and a bunch of people were like, no, it would make a much better Scott Pilgrim clone.
I think so too. All of us in like Paul Robertson pixel art style would be so cute. I should commission that from him if I have $5 million.
Kickstarter.
Yes, Larry, Kickstarter. We can add that to a list of yours in the future.
Yeah, well, I've already done a big series of Kickstarter games.
I know that's what I was
I'm afraid
referencing.
of. I'm afraid I'm going to kickstart something and I'm going to fuck it up so bad somehow.
That's all right. You can go on a future episode of mine.
And then Larry pulls the top 10 anime portrayals and like puts it on there.
What the fuck, Larry?
But legitimately, Pan, if you were going to do a Kickstarter, be smart and actually do research about the thing instead of going, I wouldn't mind $500,000. I'm going to make a comic book. That's how much that cost.
Yeah.
Well, actually, $500,000 for a comic book would be way too much money, and he could probably make a lot more than that.
I mean, I'm already making a webcomic for free, so, although I could, like, say, hey, I'm doing physical copies.
Well, that's the business model.
Yeah.
Physical copies, like, you can get, like $1,000 can get you a ton of copies, so,
Yeah.
Like, $500,000 would get you a shit ton of physical books, so that's, like, way astronomically. Comics are really cheap to make. You underpay an artist and a writer, then you print it out.
You offer them payment in promotion. That's what you do.
Whenever you see a Kickstarter for a comic and they break down the payment and you see payment for the artist, that's secretly an exposure. Most of it is going to the printing and the pocket of the person making it. So.
Oh, sad.
Speaking of terrible like comic Kickstarters, does anybody remember Pictures for Sad Children or Pictures of Sad Children?
What's that?
I mentioned this off topic before in different calls, but essentially this was a Kickstarter run by some webcomic person who literally had a huge mental breakdown, and they took all the copies that were promised to backers and they threw them in a fire. And they say, for every email I get for this book, I'm going to burn another copy. And
I remember that.
Oh,
yeah. So basically this person went on an unhinged, like Mel Gibson level rant about how the world is corrupt and how they don't owe anybody anything for their money. So they basically they didn't take the money and ran. They took the money and burned the what was promised to them in a fire.
Wow.
All out of spite. So
why? Like, just, I know they're having a breakdown, but I don't know.
It literally, it was just a mental breakdown. Their mind broke, and then somebody intervened and took the rest of the copies, and they shipped them to whoever could. As far as I know, if somebody backed that Kickstarter and wants to clarify for me, I'd appreciate it. But I don't think anybody was compensated for their backing.
Oh.
And yeah, that person.
I believe some people got theirs.
But not everybody was. Like, people who backed it didn't get their money back.
No,
so Yeah, that person is a terrible human being, and I hope they get what's coming to them for karmic retribution. But somebody also said, no, 49 in the chat says, who remembers Officer Truffles and Miss Officer and Mr. Truffles?
It had the worst name. The name did not roll off the tongue. But literally, okay, this is what it was. It was like there was a photo on Tumblr being shared around. It was like this park ranger lady, and it was a little baby bear standing on its legs.
And it looked like the officer was talking to the bear.
Yeah.
Like it was reading off a notepad to the bear. And some... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And then some people said, "Hey, let's make a Kickstarter to make a cartoon out of this." And then the Kickstarter came out, and there was a lot of weird, shady stuff going on. Like most of the money went to the merchandise and not the actual thing itself. And I don't know. I think they had Lolicon on their art, and then later that person was working on the show Villainous on Cartoon Network. I think so, something like that. And now everyone has like a hatred for Villainous. Well, some people hate Villainous just for that.
Yeah. Who's the guy who created Ren and Stimpy?
Oh, John
K.
Yeah, he done a Kickstarter for an animated show about his childhood.
Yeah,
it's called
Cans Without Labels.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that never sort of materialized. I mean, he did do good and give everyone the artwork he promised, but he's never actually sort of come out with it.
John K's crazy.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, how often do Kickstarters actually, like, especially when it comes to entertainment, how often do they actually like bring the thing that they're supposed to deliver?
It's called harsh reality. That's what Kickstarter gave us, a harsh reality. Things are expensive. I think
the problem with most Kickstarters are that their scope is way too damn big, and they don't think to reel it back and do something a bit more realistic.
Well, I mean,
I personally think Kickstarter should be a class as gambling, like loot crates now.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Is that because I mean you're not investors because you're not educated enough to know what you're investing in, because like people just like the concept, the idea. You just throw money at it and hope it comes out good. But rarely do you ever check the credentials of the people. We don't, anyone can come up with a cool idea, but if they have no like actual experience or any like evidence that they can create it, you're blindly trusting people.
Well, even if they're really, really massive. Do you remember the Kickstarter for a virtual sword called Clang?
No.
It's basically... Yeah, it's this really famous writer, and he also got like all these big names to sort of back it. What's his name from Valve?
Gabe Newell.
Yes, him. Yeah, he was in the video, and basically it was a virtual sword that you had. Well, it's a physical sword that you could actually swing in real life, and it will mimic your character's movements in the game. And they got like $2.5 million from this, and so and because everybody saw all these big names in that, and they thought, oh, it must be good then.
And what became of it?
Yeah, well, I think we all know not to trust Gabe Newell anymore. So that's. Hey guys, Half-Life 3 is coming out over a decade and a half later. A Half-Life 3 writer has to come out and be like, "Yeah, it's not happening."
Well, they're jumping on the old popularity bandwagon now. They've announced that CS:GO is going to have its own battle royale mode soon.
Someone threw out Shovel Knight was really solid, probably one of the best games to come out of Kickstarter, to be honest. But someone said Yooka-Laylee had credentials, but the game stunk, which I'm just started playing, and I'm actually shocked about how unfun it actually is. It did have credentials, but no one actually stopped to think maybe it's not the good guys from Rare.
Yeah, that's the thing that people don't get. Like sometimes, like it's like, unless it's like the director or the lead level designer or whatever. Unless it's that specific credential, it's most likely probably not the person who made the game what it was.
Right.
It was just a bunch of team members who were like, "Hey, we can make a game. That'll be easy." And then they're like, "Oh,
yeah."
No.
They thought they could pull an Image Comics, but they were wrong.
All I was gonna say was people are also missing Shantae, which was pretty okay.
Yeah.
Shantae was just really short, but again, that's also like it was expensive because there was a lot of hand-drawn animation in it. And
yeah, but it wasn't as charming as the pixel stuff. And honestly, I thought Pirate's Curse was better. I know I'm a big Pirates person, so like automatically it sounds better, but not having to stop and like break the timing by dancing to turn into things, I thought just Pirate's Curse was a lot better. And the DLC where you get to play as Risky Boots, for me, was just much more engaging.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most people don't get, and Larry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm kind of off base with this, but I think people just severely underestimate how expensive games are to make.
Yeah.
Like, they company like say EA, Activision, etc. It's not that big a deal because like they grossly over exaggerate how expensive that shit is, and then to sell like loot boxes and shit. But like making a game like on the scope of most of these Kickstarter projects, it's expensive, and like people don't start out so big in scope. Like we're gonna have like Mighty Number 9, for instance, we're going to have all these ports, we're going to have all these modes, and it's all because of you guys. And like, if you thought about it, $4 million was not even, it's a big amount to us, but for a game like with all that shit going on, it's not that much at all. And it was bound to hit issues like immediately. I didn't think of that at the time, but you know, looking back on it in hindsight, it's like, yeah, they shot themselves in the foot from the start.
Yeah. Going back to John K., the creator of Ren and Stimpy, I just want to read this comment. It says, while I was in LA, one of my teachers who worked at Starburns, the company behind Rick and Morty, told me about John K. Apparently John, a man in his then late 30s, had an 18-year-old girlfriend who would sit on his lap as he spoon-fed her. She referred to him as, quote, daddy.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You've told this story before.
Have I told on the podcast?
So Larry, do you have anything to add about gaming Kickstarters and not whatever the fuck I was just told into my ears?
Well, not really. I've never invested in the Kickstarters because you hear all these horror stories and that, and they just frighten you away.
Yeah.
I wish that these companies would take a percentage of the royalties and put it into some sort of insurance thing. So if it does fail, people will get their money back.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, they take a good 10% of the royalties anyway, and they just profit off it. So these ones that take like $2 million in, that's a $200,000 profit from doing nothing. So they could
except hosting it on their website.
Yeah, so they could at least invest some of that into insurance for people, because otherwise, it's all too bad. You should have thought of that. It's your problem.
Well, I mean, like you said, I think the site should be considered gambling.
Well, it is. It is gambling. You're putting money in, and there's no guarantee that you'll get what you get. So that is legally gambling.
I feel like we're kind of stretching things,
I know. We're just
no, not at all.
Because I don't know. I feel like everything's going to be considered gambling at some point.
I think to a certain extent, I think gambling is. I don't think gambling is quite the appropriate term, but I don't think that's wrong either. It's sort of like
it's in the same ballpark.
It's in the same ballpark. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure, because sometimes you do get what you get. Like Mighty Number 9 promised classic Mega Man action, and we technically got that, sort of. It wasn't good. It wasn't great, but it is what we were promised.
They got the product. The thing is, like, it's not a transaction like most people see it as in, like, if you give money, you're supposed to get a product back. But there is no legal obligation for any of the Kickstarters to give you the thing. They can always say, oh, well, it didn't go, it messed up. Whoops. Sorry, no product. We quit. Which you see a lot, like the Yogscast people when they did the game.
Yeah.
They got like 2 or 3 million.
They just...
Well, at least they ended up in
I keep hearing about that, and I've been meaning to watch Larry's video about it, but I haven't had the time yet.
Well,
I'm going to watch that after this, I think.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up right now.
At least they ended up in Sega All-Stars Racing.
Yo, that's awful.
Look, that's something to aim for. Like, if they can make it onto a video game, maybe someday I can end up in a video game.
Fuck, you refuse to put Toe Jam and Earl in the game, but you put Yogscast in it.
Yeah, that's like a crossover game. It's like if Smash Brothers decided to put Fred in there.
He's Fred. I want that now. I want it.
As long as he's target practice, I wouldn't mind.
Oh boy.
No. If anyone's going to be in Smash Brothers, it's going to be Goku and SpongeBob.
Yes.
I want SpongeBob unironically to be in Smash because that would be hilarious.
Please, Nintendo.
Seeing SpongeBob get the shit kicked out of him by Bayonetta would be fucking.
I mean, Nintendo has the power; they can do it.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo. Introducing Super Smash Bros., where all your favorite characters go toe-to-toe in one 4-player star-studded slam fest, only on Nintendo 64.
I think the reason why Sakurai says it's impossible, quote unquote, isn't because from a technical standpoint, but from licensing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Viacom licensing is probably a lot different than just licensing a third-party character in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in general, I think that Smash Bros. Is supposed to be a game, like a video game exclusive thing. I don't think they necessarily want cartoons and movies.
No, eventually they're gonna.
Well, didn't they have a Nickelodeon sort of Smash Brothers knockoff?
Well, they had one for Cartoon Network, but
okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they could ever do one for Nickelodeon, because then you'd have the Rugrats and you'd be beating up a baby.
Crossover game, didn't they? They did have a crossover.
Yeah, they had crossovers.
Yeah, and there's a racing, but there's a Mario Kart game in the arcades, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's 3 of them, I think.
And the last game they ever released under that license was Nicktoons Baseball. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
First, you just had realistic baseball players alongside cartoon characters.
But to be fair, Danica Patrick was in Sonic and Sega All-Stars. So
she's my favorite Sega character.
Yeah.
I remember this Archie comic artist Tracy Artley had to draw a tie-in comic for that, and seeing him draw Danica Patrick interacting with Sonic in character was the best shit. I love stupid crazy crossovers like that. Crossovers are my absolute favorite thing in the world.
I said the worst thing for us in the UK, I had to Google who she was because we had no idea who she was.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a NASCAR racer.
But
she drive the Daytona car.
Yeah, she was mostly known for also GoDaddy commercials, this website domain place where you buy website domains.
I know that. Yeah, they operate here. Yeah.
I want to address something in the comments. Someone was talking about how Splatoon had a SpongeBob Patrick crossover thing where one of the Splatfest you had to choose between who was your favorite character, SpongeBob or Patrick, which is clearly a tie-in, a advertisement deal,
also
just like Transformers.
Yeah.
So that's completely different than having a permanent character appear in your fighting game forever versus having this 1 week promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they have the foresight to think, well, if we want to re-release this, even though they never re-release Smash Bros. Games ever on other consoles, it's always a new one. They probably are thinking we'll have to pay a licensing fee and it's going to be expensive, etc.
Yeah.
But like I said, come to think of it, they really don't ever re-release Smash Bros. Games and when they do. Yeah, and they never price drop them either, so it's not I think Brawl just recently got a price drop a year or two ago.
Brawl, the one that's not even in market anymore.
Not even the good one, like Melee.
It's still in market. I've seen it in my Walmart, and it's $30. So
oh boy, that's a deal. $30.
$30 for a near 10-year-old game, only Nintendo.
Oh man, here's something even worse. I was looking up Marvel Ultimate Alliance, this crossover game from 2006. I love it, but the bundle for the 2 games, these 10-year-old games, are on the PlayStation Store for $60 full price.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Marvel.
Activision.
Thank you, Disney. Thank you, Activision.
Yeah, just Activision and Disney together.
Can I say one more thing about Sean Kay as well?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, what's up?
Did you know he had an anime game on the GameCube?
I was going to ask you about that right now. Go Hyper Grind.
That's it, yes.
Yeah. Do you know if he actually personally worked on that, or it was just some person from his studio?
Well, it says Animation Studio Spumco contributed the character designs to the game.
Yeah, because I want to know, somehow meet John Kay and say, hey, did you personally work on this, or is it just some random intern, or I don't know.
I think he appears in the game, I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I would have known, but I hope he does. Just run over John Kay, that'd be nice.
I just like how sort of random that is, that he appears in he's done work for a Japanese video game. Really.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird cartoonish video games that came out around that era.
Oh, they're just throwing anything against the wall back then, weren't they?
Yeah, I guess with the invention of cell shading, everyone was like, "Hey, let's make a cartoon game," and none of them sold very well, and I'm very disappointed in that.
When will we get a panty and stocking video game?
When will we get licensed video games again? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, like, with Disney buying Fox, they need to make, like, a good version of Disney Infinity and bring in all the Fox properties like Die Hard and Aliens and Borat.
Spider-Man is coming out in 2018, and that's technically a licensed game. So,
did you see? There's a big argument on Facebook at the moment that people are complaining why Disney won't allow the Alien Queen to be part of the Disney Princess collection.
Well, first of all, she's a queen. Yeah. You would have to have a regular xenomorph. Those are the princesses.
Yeah.
No, I want a Disney princess movie, and like she has to fight the Alien Queen.
Oh.
And she's like, "Mom won't let me go to the xenomorph prom."
Okay. So real talk though, the Avengers, the fact that they can bring in the X-Men, and I really hate the Fantastic Four, but they're back. Doctor Doom's the only cool thing about them.
Oh.
I think it's neat.
He only got popular because he looks a bit like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But like now that they can bring those characters into the MCU, I think that's really great since they're about to like retire a bunch of characters potentially in this new movie, where I think everyone feels like Captain America and Iron Man are gonna die. That's what everyone's kind of feeling.
They ain't gonna die. Like I remember watching Civil War thinking, is one of them gonna die? And nobody died. I was like, this is a ripoff.
I don't think they're gonna. I think a lot of them will die, but I think Captain America, Iron Man will be like retired in universe, so they can cameo in later movies.
Oh, Hawkeye
like the old.
Hawkeye can fuck off. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Nobody bothers him anymore. He's like.
Hawkeye is irrelevant. He's definitely going to die.
Diet Coke, Green Arrow. Yeah. So.
Diet Coke, Green Arrow. Ouch.
But with them,
I do love Green Arrow though. He's basically like a cool Robin Hood, but he still wears the silly spandex and tights and the stupid hat, and it still looks cool. And I'm like, I'm all for it. I love you, Green Arrow.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, I think it's kind of cool to be able to bring those into the MCU as they're retiring a bunch of characters or guys are like contracts are running out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the reason why people are thinking that Iron Man and Captain America are both going to be retired or killed off because the contract for those actors are up. Like after this movie, they're not contractually obligated to appear in anymore.
Oh no. Well, they
can't get rid of Iron Man because he's like the Marvel Batman. I mean, they have to find some excuse how they can afford all these things.
I kind of wonder if like Disney's going to be like, okay, Hugh Jackman, we need you again.
Oh, he said no, didn't he? He said he's not going to be. He doesn't want to be Wolverine.
You never know. Like these actors say no, and then they come back.
Yeah, Disney throws enough money at them.
Yeah, it's like hey.
I think it'll be like a thing where they're gonna pass the mantle of the hero. Like Peter Parker Spider-Man went to Miles Morales after Peter Parker died in the comics. So I'm willing to bet that there will be another Iron Man, and like it'll be just not Robert Downey Jr. Something like that. They're definitely setting up Miles Morales to be in the Spider-Man Sony thing. So that segues into the next bit of news.
Yeah. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, a new animated Spider-Man movie from Sony Pictures Animation, and it looks amazing.
The first animated Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Was this the one that's going to be done by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the Clone High guys?
They're writing it, and it's being directed by like 3 people for some reason.
Oh boy.
I don't like the fact they've lowered the frame rate so it looks like stop motion.
Yeah, it looks a little weird.
Yeah.
I know Tron Uprising, the cartoon series, did the same thing.
No, it just doesn't feel right.
I love it. I love everything they did with it. It looks so different and cool.
Yeah, because like
everyone's stylization's neat.
Everyone lost faith in Sony Pictures Animation, and this trailer comes out, and it's like, whoa, this is not like any other CG film. Because
I quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed the Smurfs movie they did recently.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think he's talking about the animated.
Yeah. I forgot that existed. That was
Lost Village. Yeah.
Everyone kind of forgot about that.
Well, isn't the Smurfs like way more popular in the UK or like Europe because that's where it was originated from?
No,
from France.
We're sort of quite separate from Europe. We don't we concentrate more on stuff from America rather than in Europe. If the Smurfs were popular here, but it was because of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon series rather than anything from Europe itself. So technically, it's the American Smurfs that were popular here rather than the European one.
I learned something today.
Yeah, basically, we like America more than Europe.
Oh,
but I don't want to get political, but that's how it is in sort of It's
No, that-
mainly because of a language thing as well, and sort of we have a very similar cultures as well. So
We're the loud, spunky younger brother or sister, or whatever you want to count America as. We're the young sibling.
yeah,
You have to love us.
Yeah, I mean, with this Spider-Man movie, it looks like something that would be leaked online, and it would say like this was a test animation for an upcoming film that never happened, but it really is happening. It's so weird looking, but it really is happening, and it's coming out next December, a year from now.
it's amazing that they kept it quiet for so long. I mean, it's only a year to go. Normally, it's like a couple of years before when they announce something like this.
Well, they announced it before, but we haven't seen any footage until now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and it's gonna follow Miles Morales.
Yeah, I like Miles Morales a lot more than Peter Parker. I just sort of like. Huh?
It's because you've seen him so many times, you're sort of bored of Peter Parker.
Yeah, Miles Morales feels a lot more different. Like not just because the obvious like elephant in the room, but just because he has a different background, and he has to like take the mantle of like a legend, which is like an underdog thing, and I love underdog stories so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of bummed that Donald Glover's not voicing Miles. Since
Okay, I've actually wanted to mention this because I've literally been saving this in my head for weeks, but poor Donald Glover.
Oh.
The only time he got to voice Miles Morales was in the worst Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Rest in fucking pieces. Donald, I love you. I'm sorry they did this to you.
Oh,
but if he's not in the soundtrack, I'm going to be pissed.
But the person who is voicing Spider-Man in this movie is I forget his name, but he played Malcolm in the movie Dope, and he was on Incredible Crew. That guy.
Yeah, and I told you that, so thanks for stealing my bit.
Yeah, I mean, like,
well, it's not James Corden for once.
Oh.
Who's in?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the visual styling and how they have like the comic book did their dots, halftones. They have halftones like showing the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the choppy animations, a little off-putting at first.
I wonder if like they'll change that, because like I see a lot of people complaining about that, so I'm kind of worried. I'm also worried
I'd
like
love to see it 60 frames a second. I wish they'd do that in animation, have a nice sort of super smooth thing, because I'm so used to it in video games now. It just seems a bit weird when you look at a movie and it's like really low frame rate.
Well, what did you think of the Hobbit 48 frames per second?
It does. It's different because it's live action. That feels a bit weird.
Yeah,
it does feel weird when it's live action, but a video game sort of CG stuff, it's more suited there.
Yeah, because
someone said Donald Glover's an old man, not a teenager. First of all, this is a voice role.
Yeah.
Second of all, have you heard his voice? He's still he was playing like a teenager in college and Community like 5 years ago, if not earlier. That's not an argument.
Yeah, what about that's Yardley Smith's entire career, isn't it? Really?
That's every voice actor's career.
I think Donald Glover would do a good job. I really liked how he sounded. Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon,
Do you know
the cartoon being shit notwithstanding.
All this time I've had Danny Glover's face in my mind when you've been talking about Donald.
I used to get those two confused.
I'm too old for this.
I'm kind of worried. Like, are people gonna be like, why is there another Spider-Man franchise? They're already rebooting Spider-Man again. Why is he black now? What is this? I feel like that's gonna happen a lot.
I disagree.
I think if people liked the Homecoming Spider-Man, they'll have no problem with this.
Yeah, but
I liked it.
I mean, it's like your average person's gonna think, wait, they're rebooting Spider-Man again, for the fourth time. Like, they're gonna think that.
I think,
then it'll come down to marketing.
Yeah.
Well, I think people have the ability to Google now.
I know, but like your average grandpa is just like, another reboot.
That's not the target demographic.
Okay, fine. Fuck grandpa.
Okay, so having said that, though, how do you think they're gonna handle this series? Like, do you think it'll be PG-13, or do you think they're gonna keep it PG? Or
they're trying to get as many bums on seats in cinemas, aren't they, with it? So it's going to be PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13 is the safe bet. Like, I'm sure they can do that, hopefully.
I think PG-13 is like the new PG, because kids still wind up going to these movies anyway.
Yeah.
In the first Iron Man movie, there's a graphic like surgery scene where Tony Stark is screaming in agony. So it's still got a PG-13. So, maybe we can get blood in this movie. Yeah. And maybe somebody will die.
And you can still advertise PG-13 movies on kids' channels.
Yeah, and kids movies too. So, and so the new Frozen movie out, and Elsa singing "Let It Go," go see Spider-Man into the Spiderverse. Like in the actual movie, she says that.
Yeah, I remember when she said that.
And then in front of the Frozen movie, they have a Frozen short, and then after the Frozen movie, they have another Frozen short.
40 minutes of Frozen shorts all together. I want.
Yeah, they need to let it go, don't they?
Oh.
Bitch. No, but I feel like nobody would really care if they like had a thing with Olaf in the beginning of Coco saying, "Hey, this is Olaf. Stick around for the movie to see my brand new short," and then the Coco plays. Nobody would care then. But
Olaf is a Jar Jar Binks of Frozen.
Sure.
People liked him in his original movie.
Yeah.
Olaf isn't really annoying to me. Like, he's just kind of like too happy-go-lucky, and I hate happy-go-lucky people, especially the type who are just faking it, and then like when they have a bad day, they're literally the worst people to be around.
Oh.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
No.
But you know somebody like that in your life.
I don't know people.
Yeah, we're talking about that person.
Hey,
we
I'm
know
right
him.
here.
We know them.
Yeah, but I think everybody seems to forget the worst pre-movie short. So
Which one?
Angela Anaconda.
Oh, for the Digimon movie? Fuck.
Everybody's complaining about the Frozen short, saying it's awful, and I'm like,
at least Angela Anaconda was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
I'd rather
no
watch
one gives
that.
a shit about a shitty short in front of a movie. It's the fact that Olaf's whatever shitty adventure is 21 minutes long. Like,
okay,
no one signed up for that.
But to be fair, watching Angela Anaconda felt like an eternity.
Who are those kids in the Angela Anaconda photos? Like, who are they?
Yeah, we were talking about
most likely.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Are those kids still alive today?
Yeah, they look like a facial capture, and I'm wondering what's going on.
Okay, is this true? Someone's like, remember when the Rescuers Down Under had a 31-minute Mickey Mouse short, or how there's a 28-minute Winnie the Pooh short before the live-action movie in the 60s?
God.
Is that actually true?
Yeah, that's true.
But shorts used to be a huge thing, like the Superman shorts that are on Boomer. Those were movie shorts.
But it's like, I don't have time for that shit.
Y'all are just impatient.
Look, it's bad enough I had to sit through the end credits just to see some random reference to some comic book thing I don't know what the fuck it is. And now I had to sit through another 21 minutes of some random thing I did not sign up for.
Okay, so first of all, Pan, you should probably, like, I don't know, I like actually sitting through the actual credits of movies since I want to work on things for a living,
obligated.
like be an animator as respect. That's what I do.
It's
Izzy, you're such a good Samaritan.
I heard in Japan people sit through the credits even if there's nothing at the end out of respect.
I do that. The theater doesn't like it. They're like, there's nothing after this. I'm like, we know.
Just like, let us dream.
I totally believe that Japanese people do that. They're mad crazy about the respect thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I saw Justice League, and like the end credits was like a lot better than the actual film.
Did you see somebody applaud to that too, and he was the only person that clapped?
Oh, okay. So when I went to see Justice League, there was like 3 people. Like, this was like a week ago. That movie's been out for like 3 weeks already. No, even more than that. Like 8, like almost 2 months by now. And there was like 3 people in the audience, and it felt so dead. It felt so lonely, and watching that movie just felt very isolating. Like, wow.
Oh, there's nothing. Oh, surely it's nice to have a whole theater to yourself sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but I don't know. Something about this just felt lonely, and this movie's just like so. I mean, at least Man of Steel, that was a humongous fucking disaster. That it's like, what the fuck? But Justice League is just like, that was safe. That was an okay movie. That was the basics of a movie. Yeah.
It was like market tested to like a fine powder.
Yeah, basically just like, it's just plain, vanilla. And what's weird about the movie is the movie feels oddly isolated. Like, there's hardly any people populating this world. Like, there's a scene that takes place in a park where Superman's statue is, and Superman's a recently dead hero, and there's nobody at this park except for like one cop car, and the Justice League have an entire fight here. Like, where's the people? And then later, the final battle takes place in this what looks like Chernobyl. Like they have that gigantic Simpsons looking tower, that smoke thingy, the nuclear plant.
Mhm.
And like apparently in this entire town, all there exists is this one family with a truck and maybe like 20 people in the background running away. And I'm like, was this done in reshoots? Was this town even populated? Because this town already looks destroyed and abandoned. Like I feel like they added this family here just to show the Justice League saving somebody.
I think the reason why they did that is because of all the complaints from Man of Steel, where that basically 9/11 2.0 happened.
Yeah, 9/11 times 11. Yeah, too soon. But yeah, was that place someone's like a Fedora Kaiju says, I'm pretty sure that was Chernobyl, because did anyone else see Justice League?
No.
Okay.
It's awful.
Yeah, don't bother.
Did you see Justice League, Larry?
I did not know. I'm waiting for it to come on BitTorrent. So I'm not going to cinema. Right.
We're not giving you money for your mistakes, DC.
I just like, was that town? I want to know the behind the scenes. Like, was that town at the end originally abandoned? Because it really does look like an abandoned town they saved, and there's just like random people living here for some reason. I didn't understand. Yeah.
We talked about the Spider-Man movie, but are we going to talk about the other Marvel announcement that happened earlier this week? They announced Marvel Rising, which is a animated series with up-and-coming superheroes, like I think Captain Marvel, who's been around for 2 decades. So, she's new now because she's irrelevant. But
was she
the big thing?
Big hand girl?
What's that?
Was she the girl with the gigantic hands? The little Muslim girl with the huge hands?
No.
No,
Not at all.
Who's that girl then?
I'm not sure, but I know it's not Captain Marvel.
She got like stretchy powers,
Or is it Miss Marvel?
I don't know.
That's Mrs. Incredible from The Incredibles.
No,
that one movie everybody's really excited about, but they shouldn't be because I said so.
Shut up.
But the big thing of the two is that they're bringing Ghost Spider, or AKA Spider-Gwen, is now getting part of this animated series, and Squirrel Girl, who's actually the strongest character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
She's beat Thanos by herself, and Doctor Doom.
She beat off Thanos, you say? That's really incredible.
Really?
I don't know these things. So is this? I mean, I know Disney already has a superhero teen show, Big Hero 6, the series on TV that premiered, and I've heard it was okay. I haven't watched it really.
The animation looks really cheap.
Yeah, it's like Flash animated. Like when it's like standing still, it looks nice, but in motion on Flash or Toon Boom, it doesn't look so good.
It looks rigged, and it looks like they keyed it incorrectly. I'm sure they didn't, but it just looks like they missed frames. Yeah. It literally looks like you're watching like a video you're dropping. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, it's literally you pause and it was like it's literally like you're watching a video. It's like, yeah, that's every video ever.
Well, yeah, but then I added the asterisk, which clarified my thoughts. So
Okay, yeah.
But people can take the first part out of context like they usually do. It's okay.
Oh.
Finally, some excitement. Got any moves left? Just this one.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, rated PG, starts March 23rd.
Did we talk about the Mario Illumination thing?
Oh, we talked about that last podcast.
Last time? Okay. I barely remember anything.
Oh, we got
I was drunk last time I was on this podcast.
I wish I was drunk every time I was on this podcast.
Larry, do you have any faith in the Mario movie by Illumination?
I think they would be better off making a Zelda movie over Mario, personally.
Did you see that one pilot, that test footage of the Zelda movie by the IMAGI Studios?
IMAGI, yes. Yeah, I put it on my channel years ago to make some money. So.
Got him.
Yeah.
You fucking thief.
I did. I've had enough avenue to buy myself an iPad, so.
Really?
Damn!
That was back when YouTube was like based on clicks rather than watch time.
Yeah.
Dude, Larry, IMAGI closed down, so it's
I know, because I was speaking to them about doing an animation series myself with them as well.
It's
Oh my
really
God.
sad that
Yes.
like I was thinking about this the other day, but I feel so bad for IMAGI. Like it felt like it was a small studio that was trying to make action cartoons for theaters, and they just never took off. Really,
I quite like that Ninja Turtles movie. I thought
yeah,
that
they
was
had
quite
Ninja
good.
Turtles, Astro Boy, and that was all they made, I believe.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles movie is a lot better than, because I watched a Nostalgia Critics review of it way back when I was a wee little lad, and he like lambasted how awful this movie was, and I watched it and I was like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of people
No, I
hated that
liked it, yeah.
review.
Well, I think there's a level of they complain just because it's the character to moan on it rather than, so it is unfair sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the problem with reviewers that play a character sometimes.
But a couple of years ago, I actually had a couple of speaking to them about doing an animation thing on my webcomic.
Oh,
I'm just working on
Wait,
years
you were
ago.
serious about IMAGI?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were joking.
No, it's the guy. Well, it's because the guy who started it. He used to work for Madhouse, and I became friends with him there. And we're sort of working out possibly doing an animated series on my webcomic called Natural Born Kittens.
And then you stole their trailer and made a ton of money off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of money that cost to buy an iPhone or iPad is what destroyed the company.
Yeah, pretty
Yes!
much. That's the economy's rough. Yeah, that's possible.
I won't tell you how much I made from putting up the ending to Gears of War 3 then.
Hey,
You motherfucker.
they also made Father of the Pride, which was an okay show.
Oh god, the Siegfried and Roy sitcom by DreamWorks.
That had randomly a donkey cameo.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Oh god, like, there was 2 Siegfried and Roy cartoons, surprisingly.
Was this before or after he got eaten by a lion?
Oh.
Guys, remember the time that Nostalgia Credit made fun of Mako? Mako?
Yeah, they got bloody lynched for that, didn't they?
And then it became a running gag later where he says, "I love Mako," and a floating Mako head appears.
Well, didn't he tell everyone he was dead before he actually did die as well?
No. What he said was in the Ninja Turtles review, he said that Splinter, who was voiced by Mako, sounded like he smoked a shit ton of cigarettes, and then Mako died of lung cancer.
Oh.
So it was like really bad taste just in general.
Oh.
To be fair, I don't think he knew. I didn't think he knew, but he could have like Googled it.
Nostalgia
No,
Critic's
I mean, like,
old.
do you
He
normally
doesn't-
like, oh man, this character sounds awful. Google the voice actor to make sure they're still alive. That's not normally what you do.
Yeah.
No, like you Google who. No, not like that. But you Google who the voice actor is. You know, like because he always usually has a caveat where he goes, "This person is played by blank." So you think he would Google Mako and like while he like looks at his Wikipedia page, oh, he died.
You know for a fact he doesn't research the voice actors. He just remembers the ones he remembers.
Yeah.
I
We all
guess.
do.
I
Or the ones
mean,
who'll talk to me on Twitter.
yeah, you would think he would, but I guess not. I was incorrect in my assumption. However, people have been saying in the chat multiple times about the Sly Cooper movie because they want me to talk about it because I love Sly Cooper. It's not a movie anymore. It's an animated series. It's being produced by Blockade. I don't know if Rainmaker is still working on it.
What happened there then?
So what happened was
Ratchet and Clank bombed.
well, not that even. The Sly Cooper trailer was just test footage. It was like a proof of concept trailer. And it wasn't even originally planned to even come out ever. They didn't have a release date planned. It was just, hey, this is what it would look like. And it's going to come out this year. And so they focused on Ratchet and Clank first because that was a more popular property, which is fair. But Ratchet and Clank didn't do well for a multitude of reasons. And it wound up only making $10 million. But for some reason, I'm still surprised that Sony outsourced that. They put it under their PlayStation Originals banner, so they like wanted to make this a thing. Yet they outsourced it to a different production company, a different animation studio, a different producer. So like, why? Why would you shoot yourselves in the foot like that?
I don't think the Ratchet and Clank movie or the Sly Cooper thing was bad because it was outsourced.
No, I know it's not because it was outsourced, but you think like Sony has a production company and an in-house animation studio, so why would they put in a middleman to begin with?
Because the video game property.
Smurf movies.
Well, I mean, logically speaking, video games don't do very well as movies in theaters. Like, it's always a risk. So why would you put your big name company at risk by using the big studio for that when you could use, say, the Peanuts movie instead, which I think was.
I think
Okay,
that Uncharted might be a great movie. I mean, it's just basically a modern day Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Really.
Izzy, you say that, but they've made Peter Rabbit, so I don't think I would take your word for it for any other studio except Sony Animation. They're the exception to the rule because they will literally do anything.
Well, they're gonna have to up their game now that Disney own Blue Sky. So.
Oh yeah. now they have no access to the movie Robots and Rio. Oh no. All the classics. And Ice Age, did they make Ice Age?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh god, they have Ice Age now. Oh no. Please kill me.
Oh, speaking of shitty animated movies, okay, we have some news because you guys remember the 2016 classic film Norm of the North?
Don't call it a classic.
Shush.
Oh yeah. I know.
Because
my friend Spo tried desperately to get me to see that, and I was like, absolutely fucking not. And he says, okay, but then you have to see the Emoji Movie, and I was like, fine.
Well, okay.
Have you seen that that trailer for the Woody Woodpecker movie?
Oh, that's actually a Mexican film or a Spaniard, I don't know, Spanish film, and
Brazil. It's from Brazil.
Brazilian film, and they're dubbing it in America, I believe.
That would explain why it's going straight to DVD.
I think they're dubbing and reshooting the live action bits. I think.
I don't know because I saw the English trailer and it's the same footage as the Brazilian thing.
Then I am incorrect in that assumption, but
I call him Woody Woodcucker.
No, it's amazing how poorly composited he is on the because the model itself looks fine. I don't think it looks terrible like the model itself, but the shading and the compositing in the actual live action footage looks so bad.
Well, I'm fed up with these CG movies where these cartoon characters go into the real world and interact with real humans and that. I think that's been done to death now. I wish put it in their own worlds.
It's not necessarily that same plot line. Woody Woodpecker is just an actual creature that exists in the real world in this context, but it's still the same basic shit.
No, it's like that a Yogi Bear movie.
Yeah, it's like that essentially. But it's just amazing to me because I was like appalled at how terrible like that compositing is because it literally looks like they filmed like Woody Woodpecker on like a green screen with lighting, and then they're compositing it into different light. Like it looks like he's being lit by a different light source. That's how bad it looks.
They kind of just put a filter over the screen to make it look like he's sort of there to a level of degrees.
Yeah.
Right, but the actual screenshots, at least on Google, it doesn't look too bad. But I'm not seeing it in motion.
Oh, you got to see it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta see it moving because then it looks awful.
Don't ruin this for me.
No, that's
actually. Does anyone actually care about Woody Woodpecker?
No.
Well, considering nobody's touched it, the license for about 50 years, I think the world's moved on.
Did you guys see the French Marsupilami movie? Live action one of those.
Fuck! No one can even spell that.
Marsupial and Lami.
We don't know.
It's not that hard.
There was like a cartoon I had a toy of that thing somehow for some reason years ago. I think it was from a Burger King thing. I don't know why we have a Marsupilami toy.
I have one. Mine's a envelope holder. They were like Marsupilami's up in the air, and then his tail loops it around where you put envelopes to like divider. It's really cute. I love it.
I always used to put it back to back with Bonkers over here, so I always got the two confused.
Too bad.
I mean, but going back to Norm of the North, it turns out there's a Norm of the North too, and it got leaked online.
The whole movie?
Yes, the whole Norm of the North.
God, that must be the most pirated movie since.
Nobody even knew this existed until it was leaked. It was just like, oh, here's a whole movie, surprisingly out of nowhere. And apparently a third one is confirmed. So what a lot of people are thinking is that this second movie is only 45 minutes long. They're gonna.
Is this? I'm gonna say, is it straight to DVD or something?
I think what they're going to do is they're just going to make two 45-minute long movies and release it as the Norm of the North 2 and 3 bundle pack or something.
Oh, they done that with the Arthur, didn't they? The Arthur movies.
Arthur
and the Invisibles.
Oh my god, I forgot that existed.
Norm of the North Star.
Oh, Arthur and the Invisibles. Hang on, I need to cleanse myself. Just like, yeah, I remember this. That kid with the eraser head hair.
Do you think Rob Schneider is going to come back for the
Freddie Highmore?
sequels?
Freaking Rob Schneider has nothing better going on.
Speaking of Rob Schneider, does anybody remember the movie The Benchwarmers?
Yep, I like that movie. I like that one. Yeah.
I think it's just really embarrassing because they try to portray like three grown men joining a little league as an inspiring thing.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider is a little league.
Oh, wait. Going back to Arthur and the Invisibles. Look up Arthur and the Invisibles Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg was in that movie and he looks fucking
Yes, he was
horrible. Here's a for us in the chat. Here's a fucking image of that crap in the general chat. Which it looks like his fingers are chopped off and it's disturbing me.
Yeah, it looks like barnacle fingers.
Ugh. I mean, for the longest time, I never knew what Snoop Dogg did. I just assumed he was just some guy who shows up in cartoons. I never really understood what he did.
For how long though? Like as a kid, like really young, or like yesterday?
Look, I guess since around like middle school, high school. I don't know.
I just thought it was a reference, a gift that you put over things.
Oh, I know the perfect image for the podcast thing. Oda from One Piece drew Chopper and Snoop Dogg as like one person.
What the fuck?
I gotta find it for you, but it's hilarious.
Speaking of One Piece, actually, they announced details about the live action movie. It's very minor details, but they were basically confirming it's starting like at the beginning of the series in the East Blue arc.
Oh,
good.
That's
the best start.
I know that sounds like, that Nolan's so basic, but the fact that we got news is what's concerning me.
Yeah, it's like, that's actually happening? Fuck.
Yeah, so production is still going on that, and I am terrified. So
why? There's nothing to be terrified about it.
Look, if it sucks, it's gonna be amazing.
I'm saying terrified in like a cheeky, tongue-in-cheek way. Like, oh, it's gonna be scary bad, like how internet reviewers would be like, this movie is so bad, people die watching it.
Oh, speaking of, I have a crazy idea about pertaining to internet reviewers. Okay. I had this idea for my character, Wavebird. She's a gamer who wants to be a YouTuber. Anyway, so essentially, like, this character...
That's a great start.
This character is playing, like, a video game, and they're making like a terrible video game review, like AVGN, like a ripoff, like Irate Gamer levels. And Wavebird says, "This game is so awful. I would rather eat my own weight in diarrhea than play this game." And then some guy pops up and he says, "Okay, what?"
We came up with this fucking idea years ago.
Yeah, I know, but I never told it publicly. And,
oh my god! Okay.
And so the guy says, "Okay." And Wavebird's like, "What? You said you would rather eat your own weight in diarrhea than play this game." It's like, "No, I didn't mean that." It's like, it's too late. You're gonna do it. You're gonna have to do it. And then they just hold Wavebird down and they just feed her a bunch of well, not Wavebird. This could work for any character.
Why are you sharing this with us?
they just feed this character that can be any character you want to imagine it laxatives, and then they're just like,
it's like the angry video game nerd when he shits in Bugs Bunny's face.
Yeah, just like a constant stream of diarrhea. And
I miss when the nerd used to take shit on things. God damn it.
Larry, I'm sorry.
Larry, why doesn't you do that anymore? You're the expert here.
I don't know. It probably takes too much time to clear up after it.
You get a funnel with a hose, and then you attach the hose into the mouth. And then it's just like someone quit. Oh, Nolan just quit. Oh, fuck! You kicked me out of the stream.
He made his own shit concoctions, though. Like, I remember when he shat on the Atari Jaguar, he said it like a toilet.
Oh.
That was like a fucking dough or something.
Yeah.
He was really creative with how he made shit.
But look, it's a funny parody because like all this time, like all these reviewers say, I would rather do this than play this game, but now is someone actually doing this thing, you know?
If you pay me, I'll animate that for you.
No thanks. No. We don't need to see
I
that.
want money, God. I want money, God.
That's
damn
too
it.
much effort for something I don't want to look at.
You're a coward.
Yeah,
you're
but
fake. You're a fakey girl.
the implication is there, and it's just like, yeah, it's subversive. It's a deconstruction.
Are we going to talk about that Big Eye movie?
Big. Oh
What?
fuck! Battle Anal Aileta.
Angel.
Fuck off.
I think you are someone very special.
May you stay in the arms of the angels.
I
Battle
love
Angel.
how that game looks. I mean, I love how that movie looks.
Okay. Battle Anal Aileta, which looks like the sequel to
Stop.
Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Stop.
And it's produced by James Cameron, which he's wanting to make this movie for thousands of years, and it's finally happening, and it's going to be directed by Robert Rodriguez. And
I like the big. I'm a defender of the big eyes because I think it looks really fucking neato.
I mean, it's based on an anime that Americans have never heard of, and
I got it for Christmas one year on VHS.
oh man, it's like classic.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
It's quite good. It's quite good.
Okay, so you might know this because I've heard like people talk about it, but are the big eyes in the actual like anime like canon? Like, is that like a thing they point out?
No, well, it's a typical anime girl, really. So
Yeah.
it's just standard anime eyes, really. So he's decided to sort of emphasize on it. She looks like she's like a weird sort of elfy bug thing.
I mean, it's weird because like all the other cyborgs look normal, and she looks like a Pixar character.
I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, I think what they should have done was instead of making so there's a new trailer for Battle Angel Aileta, just look it up. Anyway, and there's this girl with gigantic eyes, and it looks weird, and everybody else looks normal. This cyborg human girl, and I think what they should have done was make her look like a porcelain doll or something. Like since porcelain or plastic is easier to make in CG than a realistic human. Because
I don't know their arms. Their arms look like that.
Okay, yeah, but I feel like they should
her
just made
arms
her
are porcelain.
look like a doll because, like, plastic is easier to animate, and
she does look like a fucking doll. We just told you that.
I know, but like, hang on, because like she looks like a fucking.
Pan really wants to make the same point he's made a couple different times in a bunch of different videos, talking about how like toys are easier to animate than realistic skin.
Basically. Yeah, because
know,
like she doesn't look real. Like if it was...
You always say you talk about this as if like you discovered it. And
no,
it's like your
I didn't discover it. I'm just saying what they should do to fix this bullshit fucking terrible design choice. Like if they made her look like a doll, it's easier to animate, and she looked like she would be really there. Hang on. Like she looks like she's really there instead of just being like a CG overlay from Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. She
doesn't even look like a Final Fantasy Spirits Within overlay. Jesus Christ.
It would look like she was really there instead of just
go answer the door.
An overlay. It looks stupid. It just looks so distracting.
Ignoring Pan's bad taste.
It's uncanny in the wrong ways.
It's supposed to be uncanny.
It's uncanny in the wrong ways. That's the problem. She doesn't look like
There's
she's really
no way
there.
to be uncanny in the right way.
She
literally being uncanny.
She doesn't look like a physical
of...
object within that world. She looks like she's just overlaid onto everyone else's real. I don't know.
I mean, like I'm
it's
not familiar with the source
inconsistent,
material,
is what I mean.
And I actually don't give a shit about the movie itself. But I'm sure it's gonna be one of those things where you watch it long enough, you're gonna forget about it within the movie.
Hopefully.
Well, it's quite a good story. I mean, if you want me to explain it a little bit,
go ahead.
Please do. I've actually been super curious about.
Basically, there's two classes in the world. There's like the good one where people live up in the sky and have all the clean air and sort of posh stuff, and everything they don't need anymore. They throw it off the edge, and there's like a big, the whole world's a giant trash yard, garbage, dump. And basically, he's a doctor who's down there, and he finds her. She's being discarded, and he builds her back into a robot. And the story's about them going into fighting arenas and stuff. Oh, that's the original plot, anyway.
Robot wars.
Yes.
The nature thing, the nature theme that you talked about sounds a lot like the Lorax. like the Illumination movie where they have a clean air utopia and outside everything is fucking garbage. So basically, what Larry is trying to say is that Battle Angel Aileta is a adaptation of the Lorax from Illumination.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
Sorry, well, basically,
Or the
poor people
Jetsons.
live on the ground and the rich people live in the sky.
Yeah, just like
The
the
remake
Jetsons.
we've always been asking for.
I'm really excited to see it though, and they're re-releasing the manga in like a deluxe hardback edition. The first volume's already out. The second one will be out this month, and then the final one will be out in March, just in time for my birthday. So I'm going to be getting those. I'm really excited to read them.
I mean, I like how crazy the movie looks. That's what I'm excited for. So, I mean, I like that whatever that robot was. You know, those other robots. You know, it's like this looks. I mean, I guess everyone's just like complaining about the eyes, but other than that, it looks cool.
Oh, someone mentioned Danny DeVito, so that is not going to be our Pikachu.
Oh, other news. Ryan Reynolds is going to be Pikachu in the Pikachu Pokemon detective movie, whatever the fuck that is.
And it looks like the Detective Pikachu video game is getting ported over finally, or not ported over, but being like translated and brought over to the States and to Europe.
Just in time for the fucking movie.
Yeah. Erection Pikachu.
No.
But
no.
Is that all we have for news?
I fucking hope so.
All right, so you guys want to get into some questions?
Sure.
No.
Oh, boy. Well, okay, Larry said no, so I guess we're not going to do it.
Larry, you're here by societal convention. You have no choice but to answer the questions. Okay, I have a question here in the chat. GuruLarry, what's your address?
Really?
Yeah, what's your address? You got to answer. You got to. It's part of the podcast.
Well, I live in West London.
I know he specified street address or or geographical coordinates.
Oh man! By the way,
Branchstone Court.
If anybody has a question, be sure to leave your question in the YouTube comments of this YouTube video, and be sure to start out with the word question so it's easier to find.
Here's another question, GuruLarry. How long are you?
How long?
Yes.
Which way?
That they didn't
left to right or up and down.
They just put a winky face at the end of it, but you have to answer. Otherwise, there's a sniper 30 feet outside your window. So.
Well, what? How tall am I? Is that what you're saying?
Sure. You know, they didn't specify. So
I'm 6'2".
So I'm 6'4". So GuruLarry and GuruLarry and Nolan fight each other on the side of the street. Who will win?
Our first question from Sasha says question, hey Pan, how do you feel about Melanie Martinez now? Next question.
No, answer it.
It's like,
if GuruLarry has to answer how tall he is by Nolan's weird questioning, you have to answer that one.
I'm just like, what the fuck, Melanie Martinez?
What did she do?
Oh, apparently she raped her friend. Allegedly.
Oh, wow. Oh, God.
Thanks, Melanie.
Yeah.
Next question.
I mean, thank you for the loaded question. Yes.
And also, she put up like one of those official lawyer-friendly apologies where it just sounds so vague, and it's like, will you just shut up and explain your side of the story? Because like there's two apologies, and they sort of contradict each other. Because like one says this never happened, and the second said that did happen, but she never said no. So it's like, what's the truth, Melanie?
We're getting multiple people asking us, what are your thoughts on Ready Player One?
Uh-oh.
I am excited for that fucking disaster.
I want to see the fucking sham that is. I don't want to look up any trailers or images. I just want to go in surprise, like, what the fuck's going to be in this movie?
My only question is, what inspired Steven Spielberg to adapt Masturbation, the video game book, into a movie?
Money? Look.
Does he need it though?
I mean, like, I think Spielberg was like, do I have the power to put all these random characters together in one movie? Yes. And
yes, because I'm Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I made sharks and dinosaurs popular, damn it.
I mean,
I can do video games.
Who's distributing this movie? Warner Brothers or who?
Yeah, it's Warner Brothers.
Okay, they got because you saw Lego Batman. They got a ton of properties flying around. They can do whatever.
Well, clearly it should have been Disney the one doing this because Disney has everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
When do you think Disney will buy Warner Brothers?
I mean, we need like Disney versus Warner Brothers, and it's just like the X-Men intro, where at the very end, the end of the X-Men intro, all the X-Men and the Brotherhood of the Mutants just run together, and then they explode. Assuming there was like a suicide bomber in the X-Men somewhere, and they just explode so hard that their molecules get rearranged into the X-Men title screen.
Pan breathe.
Yeah. I love that. I love that intro thing. Like, that's every cartoon intro from the 90s where it was just two factions running at each other and they explode and they form the title. You know? Yeah, but Ready Player One, that's going to be a mess, and it's going to be amazing.
Larry, what do you think of Ready Player One?
What? I don't know. I mean, the guy who wrote it was in that Atari landfill movie. And
okay,
and I don't know why. All he done was drive around in a DeLorean.
The Angry Video Game Nerd movie?
No.
For some reason, the way you phrased it, I thought it was that person in the Atari landfill. Like, they found just some guy in a landfill writing Ready Player One.
No, he like gets up out of the landfill and everybody's just like, what are you doing? I fell in the landfill.
I have an idea for a movie.
No, but if you look at excerpts from Ready Player One, this dude goes on multiple tirades about masturbation and how it's a primal human instinct.
Oh, that's me. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, you can sit over there.
Oh.
But the thing is, there's also a lot of like passive racism in it, where like he'll have Japanese people like phonetically say like Ultraman, like he'll spell it out phonetically like that, and Japanese people are saying it.
Okay.
Ultraman, like how Japanese, how English people would say it.
Oh.
But he actually does that like unironically, and it's like, Jesus, dude.
Well, okay, I kind of assumed it was okay to do that. Is it not?
No. Instead of just having them say like they wield katanas and like it's literally just he literally portrays Japanese people as like English weeaboos. That's how he portrays Japanese people in the book, apparently, and it's fucking terrifying.
Look,
like if Steven Spielberg does that for the adaptation, like people are gonna get fucking pissed.
Oh yeah, whatevs. They ain't gonna do that. Maybe they will. Yeah.
So apparently someone asked about what do we think about the Minecraft movie, and I just learned that there's a Minecraft movie coming out.
That's been announced forever, but I don't know if they're really gonna do that.
It's apparently slated for 2019.
Shit, they say that about every movie. We don't know.
Every movie ever has been slated for 2019.
Yeah, it's like that. After that, no other movies will be made.
I'm wondering what the Sonic movie is going to be like, because that went to Paramount now.
Oh, if that's going to be, he goes to the real world and becomes friends with some actor.
Oh God, no! Please, not a Sonic X movie.
No, Sonic realizes, wait, I'm not popular, so he has to go into the world and be try to get popular kids again. It'll basically be Sonic Live, the comic that Ken Penders wrote.
I think it'll be like the movie Ted, where Sonic is in the real world and everyone's like, whoa, Sonic the Hedgehog's real, and then after like 10 years, everyone's like, oh, there's Sonic. Fuck him. Which is just like Sonic in real life. Well, I mean, our life.
How did we get to the subject of Sonic the Hedgehog?
I don't know. It just happens.
Just from video game movies. Just like we're talking about all these movies coming out, and Sonic the Hedgehog comes out in 2019.
Yee says, question, are you planning on doing another top 5 modern cartoon videos? I've been wanting to for a long time. Like, I need to cover OKKO and Big Mouth and all the other stuff that everybody hates, everyone likes, people like OKKO mostly, except you, Nolan. You just hate everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair assessment.
You had to start a fight with the creator of OKKO. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't start a fight. I just stated my opinion.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
If you ever need any advice, need any grounds for covering sort of obscure British animations as well,
maybe
have a word with me, because they've got some brilliant ones. I wanted to do it at one point.
Yeah, because I remember you commented on my Dougal review.
GuruLarry and Pan Pizza collab. Whoa. Oh God, my back.
The magic roundabout.
I can't wait for the Guru Pizza.
Oh no.
That's a fusion.
Hey, Larry, how many times have people made reference to the Love Guru about your username?
None.
No one remembers that movie, Nolan.
One now.
Well, I thought I only remember it because I remember people were super offended by it.
That movie was
really
fucking
upset.
awful. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
That was the unfunniest movie I've seen since Norbit.
I remember seeing the movie, but I don't remember literally.
Well, Mike Myers was
anything that's in the movie.
so proud of that character. He thought it was going to be the next Austin Powers as well.
Yeah.
And then he went into hiding.
Yeah. Well, he's basically in disguise on TV now as some game show host, the Gong Show. Mike Myers does not host the Gong Show. He's playing a character that's hosting the Gong Show. And in the commercials, the actual TV commercials, they say, and British star something McSomething makes his American debut, even though it's just a character he made up right here. Next question. Love Guru was a piece of garbage. No.
Pan's reading the comments.
No.
It's like, I'm not answering Lupusarian28 question. What is your favorite wedgie scene in an animation? That's a fetish. No.
Oh, speaking of weird fetish things, there's like a channel that messaged my old StevRayBro account being like, do you know any clips of animations that involve boxing girls?
I got that email too, yes.
I'm pretty sure I know who that is.
I mean, I just said...
No, it's not who you think it is.
I just said, no, I don't. I don't know. Here's a picture of my OC Milky Mint in boxing attire. There you go.
I got just a question in my Tumblr that says, why do you hate OKKO and get into a fight with you about it? Thank you, Pam. Thank you.
Oh.
I appreciate it.
Whoops.
He's not the only person, creator I've gotten into a fight with show. Like, I had I mean, I use fight very loosely. I don't like shit on them or get angry or anything like I used to with like the fucking Adventure Time shit. But it was like talking to Craig McCracken about Blue's characterization. Mm-hmm. We talked about that on Twitter back and forth for like a couple minutes, and I was like trying to argue that Blue was a douche.
Yeah.
But to be fair, everybody thinks that. So.
Blue skadoosh. We can too. That was a Blue's Clues reference.
Everybody, I want to formally apologize that I'm a contrarian asshole. I can't help being who I am. This is who I am.
It's not a contrarian. Blues. Everyone hated Blue from like everyone.
I'm speaking in general when I criticize creators, even no matter how civil I am about it. Yeah. It's always people are like, "You're an asshole," and I'm like, "I know, it's okay. Yeah. You can think that."
Do you get blocked often?
No, actually, I don't. Anytime I get blocked, it's usually from like people who get offended on their behalf.
Okay, remember when you pissed off, I think, Dan Harmon? Or your friend?
I blocked by him, but he never responded. I was just saying, wow, if you can act like this on Twitter, I'll have no problem getting in the industry, and he straight up blocked me.
Oh, okay, because like what happened was this was during the whole Szechuan sauce McDonald's thing where Dan Harmon, the creator one of the creators of Rick and Morty, was like, "What the fuck, McDonald's? Why are they doing this without Rick and Morty?" And people are saying, "Well, they own the sauce; they can do it if they want to." It's like you don't own the sauce.
Yeah, and Dan was blowing everybody's ass out, and like somebody PM'd me and was like, "Hey, look at how cool Dan's acting." And I thought that wasn't okay. So in my true snarky fashion, like he was like literally insulting people, calling them. He was calling them names. I'm not going to say what names they were because I don't remember.
Is it the other F word?
No, the tweets are out there, but they were very, very. And I just basically said, "Wow, if you can act like this and still have a job, I'll have no problem getting into the industry," like as a joke. And that's as sarcastic as a Rick and Morty episode would be, but he still blocked me for that instead of hiring me to write for it. So I guess I'm not getting into the industry after all.
Damn, like I saw he did reply to you, but I guess you got blocked so you couldn't see it. But he just said this tweeting is a small part of a bigger thing or something like that. But which ties into another question because somebody asked, "Can you draw porn and work in cartoons?" And
yes, you can. You just can't use your real name on it.
Oh, well, I heard as long as you don't make it like your main thing, it should be fine. You got to be known for other things. Just Bruce Tim draws smut, and he's okay. Everyone's okay with it.
I love that people ask us industry questions as if we're authority on the industry.
Look, this is as close as they got. Everyone else is too big.
I know, but it's just like, why ask Pan Pizza, the guy who has 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, who has not worked on anything in the industry, these industry questions as if you're an authority on it?
Look,
because it's a reincarnation of Walt Disney, and nobody knows about that.
Look, he has an authority on it.
It's like a second opinion. Like,
absolute moron. If any of us talk about cartoons or video games and we have a large number of followers, that means we're professionals. That is the internet fact.
Yeah.
No, it's just.
I think it's because you're vocal for the audience, to the open internet, aren't you? Because a lot of these sort of animations and that, they're very sort of closed off in their own sort of world. And you're like the public figure for a lot of them, really.
Yeah, and also,
I know, but it's just really funny to me because, like, I think at least in the last like month, you made a video where you're whining about how you haven't been like hired yet or something.
Oh, that's every video.
I know, but it's just like, to me, this is the heaven thing. Like, Pan is my hero. Pan is a professional. That's like connected to them in their mind.
It's relatable, you know. We're all just like, why would Cartoon Network hire me? How come my dick's broken?
Notice me, senpai.
Yeah.
That's something like there's this YouTuber who's like, why haven't these anime companies contacted me to promote them? Like, that's so stupid. And it's just like they're the last person that anybody would want to contact, which I just think is hilarious. Like, just the fact that a lot of people have such a huge sense of entitlement, like, because they have a small following online. And I'm not saying Pizza Party is exempt from this, because it totally is the same case. Like, we're like, me specifically too, people seem to think that like whenever I shit talk somebody, I think I'm better than them, and I'm not. I only have like 2,000.
Well, I am, but you know, I don't like to say it publicly.
But I'm still allowed to comment on it. I'm still allowed to say like, hey, these people are being dumb. So basically, what I'm getting at is like, just because you have a following online does not mean you have authority or any experience. And like, I think Pan has a little bit more than anybody else because he's actually like done projects and done work. Like, he actually has done stuff that has a work pipeline. Whereas like other people are just like, I make videos. How much different could it be than making a cartoon? You know, a lot of people actually genuinely have that mind. It's kind of startling.
Yeah, but look, cartoon making's hard. It's different from video making, you know.
Well, do you really honestly want to make cartoons? Like, I feel like you want to do more comic stuff.
Okay, truthfully, I'm like, hey, if I could, I'd be like, hey, here's a bunch of my characters, do something with this.
Yeah.
Make a story.
You're the idea guy?
Shut up! I got the design.
Izzy, you seem to hate the idea guy quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's like you
it's
the idea guy.
It's very entertaining where it's like, I don't want to do any of the actual work. I just want to come up with the ideas and get all the credit. It's really annoying. Like,
okay.
Like what you see in the video games, like indie devs, a lot of times where like people are like, I have this idea. It's like, okay, cool. You get to stand behind the other people who know how to actually do shit.
I mean, I don't think Pan's trying to claim credit. It's just like, I came up with the idea, and he's not like George. Like, I did everything.
George Lucas, yeah.
But back to my previous point real quick, Tofu Stirfry says Izzy is a professional animator, and yeah, I know that. That's why I didn't include her in my rant, because she's obviously already a professional. So
yeah, she's done things.
She knows what she's talking about.
I'm still bummed I can't talk about that one show I worked on.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Steven Universe 2.0, the sequel to Steven Universe that's coming out?
Yeah, one of those Steven Universe ripoffs. Yeah, she worked on it, or not. It's not even Steven Universe ripoff, really.
Oh yeah, didn't you also work on Alan Gregory too?
Wow.
I hate you so much, Nolan.
Also Izzy worked on Neon Genesis Evangelion way back in 1995.
Oh man.
Which is crazy to me. Izzy, what was it like working on Evangelion?
It was lots of drunken nights, really.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you come up with the scene where he masturbates over her when she's unconscious?
Yeah, did you do that?
That's my signature.
Yeah. Izzy based that off me.
No, if you look closely at Shinji's hand as the cum is cascading down it, you can see Izzy wrote her name in the cum.
Yeah, just like Matt Groening with the M and G on Homer's head. It's just like there, but would cum.
Yeah, no, except with Matt Groening, he literally will just write his signature over every still frame of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Even if it was a Korean studio that animated it, even if he didn't storyboard it, his name is still there. It's like blood. It's like blood gurd. It's like bloody gurd. You know, it's like faint, and in the background you can't see it.
Oh, this reminds me. The next video is going to be 4 best or worst Christmas specials. This is basically 4 separate reviews I just meshed together since it's like, well, this will be easier because they're too short. But anyway, one of them is All of the Other Reindeer. Remember that? Which was pretty.
Yeah, I found it in a bargain bin because it had on the top, it had on the front of the box from the makers of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
thought,
Matt Groening produced it, and there's a lot of sound cues and several voice actors from Futurama and The Simpsons in there, because it does have some DNA shared with it. But
I like it.
In the making of documentary, it's on YouTube. It has one of the few times I've seen an interview with Matt Groening where he doesn't look like he wants to die.
The artwork always reminded me of Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like the entire thing. It looks 2D, but the whole thing was 3D. I mean, if it was made today, it would have been easier to do on Flash animation.
Yeah, like basically they animated it like South Park by having everything on like planes.
Yeah.
Like flat planes, but the world itself is in a 3D world.
But some of the character assets are in 3D.
I love Olive though. Do you guys not?
I mean, oh yeah,
I liked it.
I haven't seen it.
It's like the scary godmother of Christmas.
Basically, yeah. It aired on Cartoon Network for like 1 billion years, and then they stopped airing it for some reason.
Wasn't it made by Fox?
Yeah, Fox and hang on, what's that one studio at the end of Futurama with the water? You know that studio? That's it. That's the studio. Bloop bloop.
Bloop bloop bleep.
Yeah. They're the oh wait, it was also by DNA Productions, the guys who made Jimmy Neutron before Jimmy Neutron.
Hi, I'm Paul. That one?
That one.
Nice.
I like how we refer to the studios with the sound bites. Like, here, guess what this one is.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
I made this.
That's a good show. Sit, boo boo, sit. Good boy.
I made this.
Move your head.
Shh.
All right, guys. If we ever make an animation studio together, we have to name it something that also sounds like a sound effect, so that people who are with a podcast 20 years after we're debunked, they'll get the name right.
It's going to be embarrassing. You spent all this money building up your reputation as a world-leading animation student. Anyone can remember your name is from the noise you make at the end.
Yeah.
I've been spending the past couple of years tearing down my reputation, so there's nowhere to go up from here. So
I mean, like if we ever do make a cartoon and it's horrible, we could never show our faces again as internet people.
Some of us don't even show our face.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Everybody who makes, like, every critic who decides I'm going to make a movie, it winds up awful. Like, they just still go back to doing the critic thing anyway. So.
Yeah. It's like, I'm popular. I can do whatever I want.
Hey, the one exception is that the Angry Video Game Nerd, he sucked in his own movie, but then he made that really awesome Halloween mini series thing that went on.
The shortest
one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like everything this Angry Video Game Nerd movie should have been.
Which one, Dead or the Better?
It should have been about Polybius, honestly. That would have been cool.
Are you referring to Dead or the Better, his short film?
No. He did a mini series about the Polybius cabinet.
Oh yeah, that one,
Video Game Nerd.
Yeah, and
that was really good.
It was super good. I think it aired in parts as if it was real time.
Yeah,
yeah, it was like a found footage. It was like a decent found footage short.
Yeah,
film.
And then he re-uploaded it all as a regular nerd episode or something. That's how I saw it. Was it bunched together, and it was just super good. It was really nice.
What we need to do is make a cartoon, and it's gonna end up garbage. But there will be a huge fan base after that, and I'll be like Butch Hartman, and I'll say, "Here's what the characters are doing 10 years from now," and I draw that. Yeah.
Wouldn't half your characters committed depressional suicide?
No, they're okay. Yeah, I do have a lot of angry characters, but So, my friend Neska brought it up. She said that, why are all your female characters assholes and all your guy characters submissive little bitches? What's the deal with that?
Psychological.
Yeah. Pretty much. I know my place. Look, if Wonder Woman could be created out of a fetish and be a positive female icon, then surely my fetish characters could.
And that took decades, though.
Yeah, that's not even remotely close.
Oh, well, I'm working to it. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
With Wonder Woman, she literally had to be torn down and rebuilt as a feminist icon, and even now she still has issues.
Okay, well, I'm sure somebody will take my ideas and make a much better version. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, you know.
So you're basically hoping everybody else will do.
All right,
okay,
Pizza
that's
Party
what Rob Liefeld did when he created Deadpool.
Fans of the Pizza Party podcast, this is an open call. Take Pan's characters and make them good.
Yes,
yeah. Basically, Rule 34.
Make it's like an expanded universe, or like an alternate dimensional universe. You know, do that. It's kind of do it. Make the streamline the plot. Make sense out of it. You know.
Yeah, just.
I fully encourage people to do this. Although, if you make money off it, give me money.
Basically, yeah, go to him.
That reminds me of my. Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
I said you do all the hard work making it good, and I'll profit off it.
Yes,
yeah.
You know, just give me it's like a licensing thing. Just like, hey, give me like 10% of what you make or whatever.
Not if they're doing all the hard work.
Well, it's like they're making their own version, and they can still make money. You know, they can still sell
all you have to do
shirts.
is change the names. It's fine.
Shit, no.
This reminds me of how my community college works, where we make our own short. I recently made a Christmas short film called the Nolan and Sam Christmas Special. Link in the description, Pan.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was told by my teacher that it's a joint ownership. So even though me and my classmate did all the work, because we used the school's equipment, it's partially theirs. So if we wanted to sell and make money off it, the school could also potentially do that as well.
Damn.
So, yeah. So
Shit.
that's kind of what Pan is doing right now. It's like, hey, I kind of came up with the idea, but if you do all the work, I get partially the credit.
Look,
and I want
I'm setting up an established universe that you can make a reinterpretation from. So you know.
Basic.
I create the groundwork, so you all can make your reboot or reinterpretation where it's like an alternate version and it's steampunk or something stupid.
Take the characters, make them good, recolor them different colors, change their names, and you're golden.
No, okay, well, keep the names and just just reinterpret them. It'll look cool. You know, I just like seeing Batman in different eras and stuff. You know, just here's Batman in 1995 or whatever, and here's this Batman. You know, that's what I like. Yeah.
Or in other words, just make all the characters into goth girls.
Yeah. Pretty much an all goth universe. I had this idea for a Pokemon game, but all goths, no Pokemon.
Well, there's already a Pokemon game like that, except it's not goth. It's like Jinka.
The fuck? What's that?
Which are just basically anthropomorphized lolly girls as Pokemon.
Oh, that sounds illegal.
It is legal, I guess, because it's still around. I think.
Oh no! Damn.
Oops.
Question, Sharka121 says, question, have you heard Dan Schneider is making an animated series? I think it's based off that Thundermans sitcom where it's some cheap-ass superheroes who don't do anything heroic, and it's a cartoon now, I guess.
I think we can all expect feet to be prominent.
Hey, yeah, because there'll probably be a scene where the superheroes get tied up and then they get tortured by being tickled or something by their feet.
Yeah, the villain is who is voiced by Dan Schneider, of course, will be I'm going to tickle your feet. And then they're oh no.
Yeah.
And then behind the scenes, Dan Schneider has 5 arms and he's tickling all of the voice actors with all of his gangly limbs.
Yeah, they're shooting for authenticity, you know?
Yes. And then a bunch of kid actors will come and step out and say, I felt very uncomfortable making this.
Especially when it's pouring ketchup on my toes.
Oh man.
Yes.
I have to wonder, if I ever make a cartoon, would people be weirded out that I make so many goth characters in the cartoon?
Yes.
I drop people wrapped all the time, and people have just come to accept it. So, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, because I'm
Speaking of the rap thing, I drew Nolan a wrapped Homer for Christmas.
You sure did.
And I posted on social media. I didn't specify who because I figured everyone know exactly who I drew it for. But oh my god, does everyone leave comments about how, oh, is this for Nolan?
I know who this one's for. Also, I was going to say Larry had a question, but it was already asked him. It was a Nintendo Nation thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a shame. I'm feeling lonely here.
Well, I asked you.
You asked me how long I was. I mean, that's... is this the level of thought-provoking questions that we go into on this podcast?
People in the chat, ask a question. Ask a couple questions for Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
Like, who are you?
Yeah, what the fuck,
Larry? What
Larry?
are you doing on Pan's podcast?
Larry, what was the deal with that TV show you were on in Britain? The game review show or something with Wes?
I was on a couple of gaming shows. I was on Wes and Larry's Top Tens.
Was that like its own TV show?
Yeah, it did. Yes, I was on one called Review Mageddon, which was a review show, and also on the Retro Corner.
This reminds me, over in America here, Disney XD started for the summer, had this like video game block, Disney DXP, and all they had was like IGN the show, which was just re-uploads of their YouTube videos on TV, and then it was just a bunch of other random Let's Players getting a TV series, and it was all terrible, I think. Oh, and then just random Overwatch matches, just in tournaments, and it was like, why are we watching this? Why does any kid want to see this?
I don't know why anybody want to watch esports on television. I have no idea.
Larry's getting a ton of good questions actually now. By Hooprifying. Well, actually, I'll ask these couple first. Will you be the replacement Jim? People really people want you to be a regular, apparently.
Oh, that's bless him. Thank you. I don't know. I'm not talking to you. You're not having him on my podcast. Oh, he's annoying. He's terrible. All those awkward pauses.
You've been very good so far, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Also, people are asking about the Peter Molyneux running joke. Like, how did that start? Why have you kept it going for every video?
I just thought it was funny, really.
But what was like I don't know much about Peter Molyneux other than he made the Fable game. So like, what has he done that's drawn your ear?
Well, basically, he keeps making all these promises that his next game's going to be like brilliant. It's going to have all these amazing things in them. They never appear in them. And then when he makes a sequel, he says the last game was terrible and they're promising to be in this one. So he shits on his last game for not putting them in, and then comes on. So he keeps lying and lying over the. Well, I don't know if it's lying or just making false promises. Yes, but he done a Kickstarter and basically when it involves real people's money, that's when he bit off more than he could chew, and that's when he sort of fell from grace. But it's all right, pissing away investors' money and that, and these big companies who can afford it. But if it's personal money from fans and that, that's that's when it.
I just remembered. Didn't he have some game where it was like basically like an iPhone game? It was like a cube, and everyone everyone slowly chips away at the cube, and the last person won some prize to be like a god in a video game or something.
The prize, he said it was a life-changing prize. That what it was he would gain 2% of the profits from the game for a year. So he was expecting it to make millions in that, so it'd be quite a bit of money. But since it was never released, he not got a penny.
So the game never came out? It's cancelled?
Well, it did come out, but the multiplayer mode that would make the money was never implemented.
What the fuck?
Oh, no.
So, some basically got screwed over. And then,
wow. You bastard.
And then they stopped replying to his emails after a while. I really should do a video on this, actually. Anyhow,
Please do it.
So as sort of a consolation prize of not getting the millions of pounds he was owed, he got a couple of t-shirts and posters instead.
You should just do a big Peter Molyneux video.
I am. Basically,
go ahead.
Basically, the plan was I was going to do a 5 times Peter Molyneux was an arsehole video, sort of a follow-up to Shigeru Miyamoto one, to sort of end. Put a lot into this.
Instead of 5, it should be 10.
Yeah, well, yeah,
and then the other 5 are just completely made up things. Like he kicked a puppy, and he ate food in front of starving African children, etc.
He lured children. he lured children into a gingerbread house and then ate them. And
That actually answered somebody's question. What are your plans for 2018 to an extent? Do you have any other things for planning?
I have, yes. I'm going to be doing a partially animated show about retro gaming as well. That's going to be coming up. I've got a couple of big names doing it. Been speaking to Living Tombstone about doing the music for it. So,
oh, dude, is he going to do the Discord remix for it?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a partially animated thing. I'm thinking about doing some sort of rise and fall videos as well. I've always wanted to do. I want to do a video about the Beanie Babies as well, because
oh god,
that's sort of how they fell from grace in it. Because it's an incredibly messed up story. That is. Ty Warner's really screwed it. He won't go out with a woman unless his father has dated her first.
What?
What?
Yeah,
that's really weird. That's the worst teaser I've ever heard. Holy shit.
He's got really weird kinks like that, and he's also addicted to sort of plastic surgery. He looks like Bruce Campbell in Escape from LA. You know, he's like
Bruce Campbell in Escape from LA. Wait, hang on. Was he in that movie?
Yeah, he was the guy who does all the plastic surgery. He's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Do you know anything about Webkins? Because that kind of ties into.
I don't. If you look at the if you need to check out the Beanie Babies website sometime. It looks like it's from 1996.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's refused to pay anybody to update it, so it's in this tiny little boxed window from when everybody had like 480p monitors.
Oh boy!
And that reminds me of the Space Jam and Calamity Jane website. Is Calamity Jane still up?
I think so. I think the domain expires 2020.
Okay, so. The Calamity Jane website, the Space Jam website, and the Beanie Babies website are the holy trifecta of 90s websites that are still alive.
Yeah. There used to be a Tyson AE website as well.
Oh boy!
But that Will Smith movie took the domain. AfterEarth.com. Yeah,
that sucks. For fucking what was it? After Earth? Was it?
After Earth, yeah, but
after Earth, more like After Titan AE.
Yeah, Titan AE, yeah.
What the fuck? You keep the Titan AE name. Come on, you have Titan there. That separates it.
I like that movie. Yeah. I don't know why everybody. I really wish they would try and go for proper adult animation in the West. There's always this weird mentality, so it's still for kids, even though it's not. Everybody's grown up with it, and everybody sort of watches anime and stuff like that now. I really wish they could do sort of anime.
I'm hoping for that from like Spider-Man, that new Spider-Man movie. I know it's PG-13, but still, that's a step up from the usual. Yeah, but any other questions?
I think we can end on this one. Question: if Pan from Who Now 123 Pan, if you were ever to get a proper job in animation, would you end the podcast or put it on a hiatus? End it.
I mean, podcasts are fairly easy to do, so maybe. I mean, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Fuck your friends, live for the dream.
You know, who knows?
So that's the end of the Pizza Party podcast, possibly forever. Because
fuck y'all, I'm making a cartoon.
Yes.
I wish.
I like to think if I texted Pam like, congratulations on the show, man. It just says red 9:57 p.m. Never seen again.
I hate the iPhone telling you something's red. It's like, look, man, I don't feel like replying right now, okay? But don't feel bad. And that's why I hate the red 9 a.m., you know?
Hey, let me ask y'all people something. Have you ever fucked Peter Molyneux to death? Talk about going out with a bang, people.
You know, is this the end of the podcast?
People got upset that I called him Baldylocks once.
Baldylocks?
Yeah.
That's a contradiction.
That's actually really clever, Larry. I really admire you for doing that.
Thank you. Well, I wish you were there to defend me in the comments.
Oh.
So.
I only found your videos like less than a year ago.
Ah.
I legitimately only know you as the guy who comments on everything.
But I've never watched his videos.
Yeah.
Hey guys, GuruLarry is our guest, and we're just going to spend the rest of the episode, like the finale of the episode, roasting him.
Oh.
That's cheeky.
I do want to mention a comment that just popped up was the FV guy. So we have to prevent Pan from getting a job in order for the podcast to go on.
No, I mean honestly,
okay.
Look, maybe it's possible to keep the podcast going and have a job at Cartoon Network. I'm not sure.
Depends how much Patreon money I receive.
Yeah, I mean, like realistically, if I do get a job, part of me is like, okay, if this cartoon fails, I got my YouTube thing to back me up. So you know.
Yeah, but
Wait, whoa.
And then all the other animators, I'll tell all the animators, like, look, if this fails, you're all screwed, but I got my YouTube, so sorry.
Wait. If the YouTube thing fails, you have the cartoon.
No. If the cartoon fails, if the cartoon fails, I still got YouTube.
I had a student once in one of my classes who was like, "Well, I want to work at Pixar, but I'll be okay with DreamWorks." like as if like they're guaranteed a job to the point where they get to pick and choose which studio they work for.
Yeah.
Worst student I've ever had.
Oh.
It reminds me of like how every frame of painting got $6,000 per video on Patreon, and then like they didn't make videos for over a year, and then they're like, oh yeah, we were gonna make a finale video, but we're just gonna release the script online. That's fine, right? Thanks a lot, guys. I mean, if you don't want to make the videos anymore, that's fine, but you think you couldn't put in the effort like to just, make a finale to like one of the most iconic YouTube channels of all time?
I mean, is it really that? Oh, I don't know if it's that iconic. Like, if you were to say, hey, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's memorable, but I wouldn't say iconic as like, yeah, that's YouTube. I would say Crazy Frog's more iconic, really.
Well, I mean, I like iconic as in if somebody was to say, does anybody know like any on filming? Literally everybody immediately says,
"Oh yeah,
painting."
True.
That's what I mean by iconic.
But he doesn't have like he needs a shitty mascot.
I wanted to say like for a while, like I respect all they've done, and I understand if they don't want to make videos anymore. But like the fact that they just couldn't like bother to like drudge up the motivation to make a finale video just for the fans, like just seems not even like a vlog. Even they just released the script. It's like that's kind of weak. That's mean.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not saying they're obligated to or anything, but it's just like you guys had like such a huge following, and they were wondering where you were for a year, and you just like resoundingly say, "Oh yeah, it's dead. Here's a script by."
Speaking of update videos, this is unrelated to everything, but I remember this one YouTube update where it was just, this guy whose only claim to fame is that he uploaded a playthrough of Parappa the Rapper, like long before Let's Plays were really big, and it was just some guy saying, "Hey guys, I'm having some trouble, and if everyone could just donate a penny, that would be something, that could really help." And it was like a 3-part video of just some guy begging for money for not doing anything. And I remember one.
That's gonna be that. Pan, you say that now, but that's gonna be you when your cartoon is canceled.
But I do something. At least I didn't just. I mean, his only claim to fame was making Parappa the Rapper and uploading that.
He made Parappa the Rapper.
He made a playthrough of Parappa the Rapper. But I remember one of the comments saying like, "I will give you money if you kill yourself." It's like.
Oh.
The video is no longer up, so I wonder if he really did take that money.
How would he take the video down if he was dead?
Well, do you remember to take it off before he killed himself? He's not going to leave that undone. Unless maybe
he's got his internet connected to a Ouija board or something.
Maybe he in his will, he gave his YouTube channel to his family. And...
I have fulfilled my promise. Please take down my video.
Yeah, or they were just so ashamed, like, okay, we got his YouTube password. We can delete this. No one can ever know about this. But, if anybody has a copy of that video, I'll need that. I don't know. I don't know if that guy's all right now. I'm kind of wondering now.
Yeah. Shinki Akumo actually is like, keep the podcast going, never end this episode. And it's like, yeah, we've tried to end this like 3-4 times. We're trying to end this now. Yeah.
Oh, I know them. It's Y-Boy. I know him.
Why?
Hello, Y-Boy.
Yes, I have commented on his videos.
Oh, of course. I remember the earliest comment GuruLarry commented for me was about...
you should go kill yourself.
Wacky Racers, the cartoon series.
Okay.
The failed pilot.
Wacky Races Forever.
Next Generation, I think.
Yeah. It was much better than the new one they've done.
Oh, yeah, because they did make a new Wacky Racers, but it's just like a basic, the same old thing in Flash. Looks okay. Yeah, but is this...
No, but yeah, that pilot.
Is this the end
Have you thought about doing a series called The Pilot That Crashed? Pilots That Crashed.
Are you going to talk about, like, actual pilots?
Yeah, I do pilots,
Yeah.
Review pilots for series, for cartoons that never took off ground.
Yeah, that's what I do. Stepping on my turf. But is this the end of the podcast?
Please end the podcast before he humiliates me further.
Yes.
Who's done the more humiliating? But I'm Nolan. Who are you guys?
Yeah, who are you people?
Why are you here?
Who the fuck are
I'm
you?
Second Nolan, apparently, because now we can tell our voices apart.
Nolan harder.
Yeah. Nolan
Extreme.
And I'm Live Free or Nolan.
And I'm the other one that they pay to be on. When do I get my check, by the way?
Nobody wants to be a good day to Nolan. That's the worst.
Yeah, Larry, your check is coming in the mail, and if it looks like a Subway coupon, it most definitely is.
No.
Do you know for $5 more I could have got the R8 gamer on?
Oh, man.
We should get him on. He could talk about ghosts.
I remember he was on like a radio show, and it was basically just a ambush interview where they just said, "So what do you think about being a ripoff, huh?" It's like, and I think he hung up after that. I forget what happened.
That's like TMZ levels of interview bombing.
It was
but,
just like,
all right.
Oh, I mean, they invited him on their radio show as just a friendly thing, and then it just slowly devolved to just attacking them. It's like, ouch.
Why won't this podcast end?
Yeah.
I'm ending it now. I'm stopping forever.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Ah! I stopped the stream, so now we have to stop.